It is that time of the year, the scene on the first football weekend in State College, Pennsylvania. As usual, a sellout crowd of better than 93,000 fans here in Beaver Stadium to get an early look at one of the favorites to win a national championship. And here come the Nittany Lions of Penn State, led by the winningest active coach in all of college football in his 32nd year, Joe Paterno. Today, on ABC Sports College Football, it's the renewal of an old rivalry dating back to 1893 as the Panthers of Pittsburgh take on number 2 Penn State. And hi everyone, along with Team Brand, I'm Terry again. And Penn State ranked number 2 in the poll that we use, but number 1 in many of the other ones. And incredibly, Joe Paterno has never had a team ranked that high this early. We talked to him this week, though. He said, doesn't matter, we've got to go out there and play football. But Timmy, there are many reasons why this club is ranked so high.
Sure, Terry, and one of those big reasons has to be Curtis Enos, the running back. He is fantastic. Just a junior, but he is a Heisman Trophy candidate, 6'1", 233 pounds. He runs like a tailback, has that speed, has the power of a fullback. Actually was a linebacker one time. He's going to be fun to watch. He is special. I also want you to watch Penn State on defense. The Nittany Lions could have the best linebacking trio in the country. Collins, Short, and Nelson, all Butkus Award candidates. There's no question Pitt is up against it today, and it looks like a mismatch. But new head coach Walt Harris, he's very talented. A young head coach who's rebuilding the Panthers, and folks, right now, he is still 1-0 at Pittsburgh.
They haven't met since 1992. Pittsburgh and Penn State comes up next.
With the all-new Dodge Dakota, we offer a choice. A torquey Magnum 4 that is not the typical wimpy whiner, a serious high-output Magnum V6, and a real live Magnum V8. The only V8 in its class. 468. Now who do you appreciate? The new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises.
There is nothing like being a winner. Hey, you don't want to just beat them. You want to beat them big. It's time to show them what you're really made of. You've got to make them pay the price. Hey, give the fans what they came for.
Green Bay is a small town. When someone leaves here, it means something. It means the entire community has been diminished. It means an acquaintance, a neighbor, a friend has left your life forever. Most importantly, it means there's now some extra seats available. For Sunday's game.
Well, it's awfully tough to get tickets from the Super Bowl champs. It's absolutely impossible with American Express. So bring your Visa card.
Go, Packers.
The official card of the NFL.
Get a tough case of athlete's foot, and you're benched. You get that itching, the cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Boom! Tough Actin Tinactin. It cures even tough cases of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tinactin.
Some of the most admired cars are owned by the guys who know cars best. ASE certified master mechanics. And the #1 brand of motor oil top mechanics used is Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
Welcome to our college football studios in New York. I'm John Saunders. Out to your game in just a moment. But first, let's update this game between North Carolina and Indiana. The Tar Heels winning it 23-6. Chris Keldorf with 2 touchdown passes. Carolina ranked number 8. 4 of the top 5 teams in the nation in action on ABC today, including number 3 Tennessee and Peyton Manning against UCLA. Number 4 Washington, the last team to beat BYU. The Cougars have won 12 straight since. Joe Paterno's squad is ranked number 2. He needs just 11 wins to 300. Penn State will face Pittsburgh today. Then tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time, Bobby Bowden, 19 wins behind Paterno. His squad is ranked number 5 this week and will face John Robinson and number 21 USC, trying to bounce back from a disappointing season. Regardless of the game you'll see in your area, we, of course, will have all the day's scores, highlights, and updates throughout and talk Blackledge at halftime. Right now, out to your game.
Back in State College, awaiting Pittsburgh and Penn State. Lewis Johnson is down on the field with first-year head coach Walt Harris. Lewis?
Coach, in the scheme of rebuilding a Pittsburgh team, how have you planned to face Penn State, renewing the rivalry, the #1 team in the nation? How have you planned for it?
Well, we're here to do nothing else but win our respect back. We've had good football teams in the past. We've not done very well the last few years. So we're here to do nothing else but win our respect back.
One of your coaches mentioned that if all the coaches left the field, the man who would know most about the offense is your quarterback, Pete Gonzalez. You coach him. What are you expecting from him today?
I expect him to play within the system, do what he's coached to do, and good things will happen.
Fantastic, Coach. Thanks and good luck.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, no matter what you say, Walt Harris 1-0 at this point. He's undefeated. He was a head coach at the University of Pacific for 3 years. He's been through it before, but you wonder what's going through his mind right now, or how he prepares his team, because they haven't been through this yet.
You have to like his attitude when he's coming up to play. That man right there, a luminary, a legend, Joe Paterno. This guy says, hey, we're not coming up to be a scrimmage for Penn State. I know that feeling. We came up here when I was at Maryland. We played in so many homecomings. We used to take our own floats. But this guy here thinks he's going to win today.
Starting early. You ever win one of those?
Well, we had a tough time selling Joe Paterno. And in fact, we came up, it wasn't homecoming. We had to tell him that float was our team bus.
Joe Paterno, 70 years old, in his 32nd year as the head coach here at Penn State, his 48th year overall. He arrived at Penn State College as an assistant coach in 1950.
70 years old, Joe Paterno. I can't believe that.
Penn State has won the toss. They have elected to defer to the second half, as you may imagine. Many teams do that early in the years. Dwayne Schulters is back deep for the Panthers. And we are underway in State College. Schulters watches it sail out of the end zone, and they'll bring it out to the 20 to start their first series against Penn State. Well, the Chili starting lineups, the Pittsburgh offensive line, a big offensive line, but there is a replacement. Reggie Thomas is out with an injury. Ben Cotnow is starting at offensive guard. The wide receivers, Jake Holford, a guy they go to, but Terry Murphy had 2 touchdown catches last week in his first game for Pittsburgh. And Dwayne Schulters is the main man in the backfield, but there are loads of tailbacks. That's probably the best spot for Pittsburgh in terms of depth. And Pete Gonzalez out here, 50-year seniors, had injuries throughout his career, and a lot of adversity that he has overcome. First and 10 from the 20 for Pittsburgh. Throwing on first down, and he overthrows his intended receiver. Terry Murphy was out there, but there was a mix-up because he was nowhere near the ball. Well, the defense for the Nittany Lions, this is a defensive line that's led by Matt Fornattle, a senior. He's been through the wars, and a big defensive line as well. Great linebackers, maybe the best trio in the country. They're all Butkus Award candidates. Aaron Collins will be in the backfield a lot today. And the secondary, Jason Collins, Aaron's brother, back after 18 months of rehab with a broken leg. So it is 2nd and 10 for Pittsburgh after the incomplete pass. Schulters going nowhere, wrapped up at the line of scrimmage by a host of tacklers led by Aaron Collins.
It's going to be a big key, whether they can get a running game going. They want to pass as much as they can, but they've got to establish the run before they can ever do that. And Pete Gonzalez certainly is the key. Coming off an excellent game last week, reads well. He made good decisions last week. He's got a very strong arm, but he's got to find his rhythm early. He's got to have some early success to build the confidence.
So 3rd and 10, they don't want to be in this spot very often today. Gonzalez, the straight drop, has time, incomplete. The intended receiver out there, number 81, Murphy. So a quick 3 and out for the Pittsburgh Panthers.
And Gonzalez takes his first lick. As a matter of fact, they're going to try to get to him, knock him down as much as they can today. This gets his attention. This will keep him out of rhythm. This is something that he'll have a head on his swivel all day long, looking for people coming in. That time, it was Brandon Short that hit him.
A sophomore out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Former walk-on for his first punt. And a short punt. A fair catch called for and taken up at midfield contact, but that was a Penn State player who was in his way. Chris Everly caught that ball, but no interference. Sore head, though. Chili starting lineups for Penn State. The offensive line, maybe a question mark for Joe Paterno. They lost 3 starters, not very deep. Phil Ostrowski from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, the leader there. Of course, Joe Juravicius, certainly the leader at the wideout spot. They'll go to him all day long. Puncho Brown, the big tight end. Mike McQuarrie in his first start, although he's a 5th-year senior. Curtis Edis behind him.
Penn State's game plan is always very simple.
straight ahead, no fair dodging. We're going to wear you down.
Here comes Curtis Enos, first of many carries across midfield to the 48 of Pittsburgh.
Keep in mind, Enos had 240 yards in the opener last year, picks up 6 on his very first carry here this afternoon.
And that may be the story of the game today, Timmy. As you look at the defensive line for Pittsburgh, they're young and they're undersized. You got a sophomore, a freshman, and a redshirt freshman there. Phil Clark in the middle has surprised the Pittsburgh coaches. They're better than he thought when they came in. Trey Creighton, the defensive back, the cornerback, had 2 picks last week against Southwestern Louisiana, and this one incomplete. Creighton almost had his 3rd of the season.
That play was there for a reason. Joe Paterno is going to wear him down. He's going to run the ball all day, wants long drives. He wants it to be a game of attrition, and execution is the way to get that. But he had Mike McQuarrie throw that ball, number 1, to loosen up a defense that they call a mad dog attacking defense. It's an 8-man front. They run it like the old wide tackle 6. They just wanted to loosen that up a little bit and give some pressure, or give some confidence rather, to McQuarrie.
Although Joe Paterno, we talked to him all week, he's got a lot of confidence in Mike McQuarrie, although this is his first start. Aaron Harris, Curtis Enos in the backfield out of the eye. Jared Vicious in motion to the near side on 3rd and 6. McQuarrie complete to Harris. He's got a first down and more. Still on his feet. Inside the 30-yard line, down to the 20-yard line. A 29-yard gain on 3rd and 6. And you get a look at what Aaron Harris can do with the football after he catches it.
Not fancy, but it is effective. It's a basic play out of the eye, play action. Now watch this. McQuarrie just sets. There's his fullback. Now Harris, I love this comment he made this week. He says, hey, if I'm not on the ground, I might as well keep going. Watch how many tackles he breaks. 1, 2, spins away from this one. Still on his feet. You got a guy coming behind who's trying to just get the football, and then finally the safety takes him down at the 20.
First down at the 21. Curtis Enos tries the left side. Not much running room, though. May have lost a yard. Curtis McGee, the free safety who was a linebacker a year ago and the leading tackler on the Pittsburgh Panthers team, now in the secondary, makes the tackle.
This is not the hole that Walt Harris wanted his defense in. They gave up good field position to Penn State on a short punt after they were 3 plays and out, and now the defense has to hold the line. Somehow they've got to stop Penn State. Right now, the Nittany Lions just moving at will.
Enos in the backfield. Jason Slow, by the way, the injured knee, and not ready to go today. Enos in motion on 2nd and 11. Here comes Harris, straight up the middle. He's got a lot of room. Down to the 10-yard line, close to a first down, maybe just short. DJ Dinkins, a sophomore who was a former quarterback, made the stop. But there are big holes right now, Timmy.
Well, there are, and then you have Aaron Harris coming through there. He's 5'11", 230 pounds. This is a guy that wanted to be a running back, was a super high school running back. So they said, well, we're going to play you at fullback. He said, I'm not sure. But now they've sold him on it, and he's running hard, he's blocking hard. He is the total package, and he's only a redshirt sophomore. This is a young Penn State football team.
Runs a 4.5 40, and you've got Enos, who runs just about that as well, and is bigger than Harris. So they're just short of a first down.
All right, see, if you're on defense, this is exactly what you don't want. I mean, this is a waste down. They can go to the end zone if they want and always come back and get the first down on the next play, the 4th down play. Knowing Penn State, they'll just try to melt the clock a little bit, get the first down, and just keep right on going.
Yeah, that's Joe Paterno football. A war of attrition. That's how they like to play. Just wear you out by the 4th quarter. You look up and they're ahead on the scoreboard and you're worn out.
Yeah, the assistants tell us Joe does not like to score quickly.
Right.
He likes his guys to earn it, melt the clock, make them work, and just wear down the opponent.
Everly, number 23, now in along with Curtis Enos and Anthony Cleary, the other fullback. Everly in motion to the far side. Cleary, the fullback, straight ahead. He's got the first down. And that's Penn State football. Yeah, that's the problem that Pittsburgh will have all day because of that undersized defensive line.
See, if you're playing one of these newfangled offenses of the 90s, you can expect, all right, they may go for it here into the end zone. But you know Penn State is going off tackle to get the first. Just watch those blue shirts fire off the line and establish a new line of scrimmage about 1.5 yards off the ball. Look at that. Everybody banging in there. Finally, Chucky Brown comes up and makes the tackle. But again, that's just good Penn State power football.
So it's 1st and goal from the Nittany Lions. Harris again fights his way down to maybe just outside the 5-yard line. Phil Clark, inside linebacker, a junior out of Miami, made the stop. And we mentioned in the open, this is a guy in Clark who the coaches, when they came in, they had no idea how good he was. Maybe a pleasant surprise for them, and a leader too, a guy who's very vocal. And when you have a first-year coaching staff, that's important.
Yeah, he's had a nice career at Pitt, but you know, he's had to fight through some knee problems, and he was one of the top 10 prospects in Florida coming out of high school, state discus camp. They said, hey, this guy's going to be a great linebacker. He's starting now to reach that potential.
5 brothers and 8 sisters. To the end zone. Almost picked off. Trey Creighton, again, almost had his 3rd interception of the year. He went high in the air with Tikas Pettigrew. Sophomore wideout from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
That's a nice play by Creighton. Here's a guy that's majoring in administration of justice, and I think he just did on the field. This ball is well thrown, but watch, he's playing it inside out. He's using that corner of the end zone. He knows the receiver can't go much further. He goes up like he's the receiver and almost had the interception. Nicely done.
He's made an impact very quickly at Pittsburgh. It's been a year at Palomar College, Oceanside, California original. 3rd and goal from the 6. Sustained drive by Penn State trying to get to the end zone. Not this time. Juravicius well covered by DJ Dinkins. And Phil Clark was in the backfield in a hurry on McQuarrie.
I'm a little surprised they're throwing as much as they are. But I'm sure Joe has his reasons, and he's a legend. But I think McQuarrie right now just doesn't have the rhythm. He's not throwing it the way that we saw him throw in practice this week. But that's understandable. He really has not played that much. I mean, here's a guy that for the first time is starting and is in charge, knowing it's his ball club.
So Travis Forney comes on, had 3 extra points last year, but this is his first field goal try of his career. Stasi the holder. And he splits the uprights. So a 24-yard field goal from Travis Forney, the sophomore out of Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. Joe Paterno having a word with Curtis Enos on the sidelines. He's got 3 on the board right now.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, chili, baby back rib. I want my baby back, chili, baby back rib. Barbecue sauce. I want my baby back, chili, baby back rib. I want my baby, chili, baby back rib. Barbecue sauce. I got my baby back rib.
Chili's grills like no place else. Dodge Caravan not only offers a convenient driver's side sliding door, it's cleverly designed to hold the sliding doors open, even when you're parked on the steepest of hills. Try it out for yourself, if you're ever so inclined. Dodge Caravan. During the National Dodge Sale, get up to $1,000 cash back on Dodge Caravan.
When we decided to have a baby, we knew we had to stop smoking first.
We had the motivation. We needed the help.
We chose Nicorette gum because it was flexible. Gave us the choice of 2 strengths, one for light smokers, me.
One for heavy smokers, me.
And the power to decide, you know, how much to use and when to use it to fight our cravings.
We've been officially smoke-free for a year now.
And in gratitude, we're thinking of calling the baby Nicorette. It's a joke, honey.
Nicorette gum will help you quit smoking successfully by helping you control your cravings. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
This is not your father's FBI. 616 ABC in 3 weeks.
Gorgeous afternoon at State College. Those guys will be bare-chested in November as well. They don't care around here. Penn State up 3-0. The opening drive with a field goal on the board. But if you're Walt Harris and you're Pittsburgh, you can't be too displeased with what you've seen so far. Your defense has done a pretty good job. They're going to have to figure out a way to stop the run. But Penn State's really gone to the air, Timmy.
Surprising me. They had 5 runs, 4 passes, and end up with a field goal. The last 2 plays were passes that really took the touchdown points away. They get the field goal. I would assume they would come out now and just start banging the ball next time they have the football.
So Travis Forney, after his first field goal of his career, will kick off. Hank Poteet and Dwayne Schulters back deep for the Panthers. to one knee. They'll bring it out to the 20 again. Forney doing his job well for Penn State. Well, this isn't the only game on ABC today, of course. Tonight, a primetime matchup on ABC Sports College football. Number 5, Florida State, and number 21, USC from the LA Coliseum at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Bobby Bowden in his 22nd year as the head coach of Florida State. That should be a heck of a matchup and should have implications, far-ranging ones down the line.
Sure, it always does, and we'll see Florida State next week. You and I will be down in Tallahassee to watch
against your alma mater.
Against Maryland, that's correct. And new coach Ron Vanderlyn at Maryland.
Thompson now in at fullback for Pittsburgh, and down goes Gonzalez. Had no time whatsoever to throw the football. David Fleischauer, sophomore out of Clemens, North Carolina, was in there in a hurry along with Chris Snyder.
Take another look at this. This is a young offensive line for Pitt. Right now, they're not getting their blocks. They're not locking on. They're giving up too quickly. Gonzalez does not feel comfortable in the pocket. They tried to throw. It's a West Coast offense. They're going to throw to set up the run. So far, they've been unsuccessful throwing the football.
Loss of 6 at 2nd and 16. State showing blitz, now dropping back. Gonzalez with time this time. Picked off. Sean Lee with the interception. Brought down at the 18-yard line for the first major mistake of the ball game. Lee, the junior out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, had 4 interceptions in 1996, his first of 97, and that ball was tipped, I believe.
It was tipped, and Lee is only 5'7", but watch, he's playing free here, number 24. Gonzalez thinks he has a receiver coming in on the post, but watch, there's the tip ball. There's Lee playing free back in his safety position, and now he's just looking for some blocks. Sean Lee, as you mentioned, is only 5'7". He's out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, junior. This defense is balanced, it's talented, and if it plays aggressively like it has been, it's hard to beat consistently.
So 3-0, and Penn State now takes over inside the 20-yard line. Jurevicius in motion to the far side. Enos bounced off one tackler, but now sent to the ground. A loss of about 4. Calvin Robertson, the redshirt freshman out of Dayton, Ohio.
He hit him first, but Phil Clark finished him off. Again, Clark is the guy. He's 6 feet, 235-pounder. He's very, very talented. He's going to be around that football. If you get somebody just to hit him first, like you said, slow him down, Clark's going to be there in a hurry.
So a loss of 4 on the play. Robinson, by the way, a young, talented guy that they're really looking at on that defensive line to make some big things happen this year. Terry, the straight drop. Penn State throwing again. Putting down inside the 5, down to the goal line at the 1. Cuncho Brown, the tight end, the junior out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and a big target.
Terry, it is absolutely no secret. It's a time-tested fact that you can't give Penn State too many opportunities by turning the ball over because they capitalize, and they love to go to their big tight ends. Look at Brown. Now, Brown is a hoss. He's 6'7", 270 pounds, 6'4", 270, and the guy gives you a big target. So you respect the run. All of a sudden, you slide the tight end out. He gets behind the linebackers. Now they're ready to score.
A lot of weapons on this Penn State offense. From the 1, Enos powers his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Penn State. And they made it look easy. You can't do it much better than that. When you've got Enos in the backfield, a Harris in the backfield, McCreary throwing well on this drive down the field, it's hard to stop.
You know what's scary? You watch Curtis Enos. I think he is an outstanding player. But when you talk to the so-called experts, they say not as good as he is going to be. That's scary. He's a talent.
He was revved up, too, for this. He talked all week about how he couldn't wait to get out here and play, hit somebody other than his teammates.
Enos does everything so well. Their second leading receiver.
Flag down on the field. So we'll wait to see what that's all about. Yeah, Curtis Enos a year ago had 32 receptions, which is a school record for a running back at Penn State. And when you look ahead to the NFL, certainly one of the things that NFL people look for.
Against Pittsburgh.
Joe Paterno just keeps coming up with him, doesn't he? He is loaded. This team is talented. 70 years old or 70 years young. I call it chronologically advantaged.
Jim McConaughey, the referee, and his crew today. So Penn State rolling early here at State College. A good start to the 97 season for them. They're up 10-0.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Fortune 500 companies know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go, National Car Rental. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
Is that a new Big King? No, it's a bag, Coach. No, in the bag, son. Yes, sir, it is.
Well, what's a smart kid like you doing sitting on the bench? Get in there and play quarterback.
Really?
Like taking candy from a baby.
The new Big King from Burger King, flame broiled with 75% more beef. It's like a Big Mac, except it's bigger and tastes better. And right now, you can get one for just 99 cents.
Coach said I could play halfback.
From behind the wheel, you might think of Dodge Caravan as a car. Probably because in some ways it is. Its cab-forward, wheels-to-the-corners design makes it stable and sure-footed, a lot like a car. Its advanced suspension makes it nimble and agile, a lot like a car. With all the utility of a spacious four-door van, all of which suggests we got the name right, Caravan. During the National Dodge Sale, get up to $1,000 cash back on Dodge Caravan.
Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And Marriott Hotels, Resorts, and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. Travis Forney getting a workout already. His third kickoff of this game. Poteet and Schulters back deep. 10-0. Penn State leads it. Third consecutive kickoff that has sailed out of the end zone for Forney. Well, there has been a bit of a controversy this week, I guess, created as much by the media as anything else. The Southwestern Louisiana game a week ago was the first game for Pittsburgh, and Penn State did not have a game last week, and the game tape from that contest was not handed over to Joe Paterno. Usually coaches exchange tapes, but there was nothing to exchange. We asked Joe Paterno what he thought about this whole mess.
You know, this business about Pitt not letting us have their films and that kind of tape was all ridiculous, because if I were in Coach Harris's shoes, I would not have given our tapes to Pitt because there's nothing to exchange. You know, that's the way it is. If I get a game to exchange with you, that's what an exchange is. I mean, it isn't a gift.
And it's been blown out of proportion for the most part. We got here, there was not much of a controversy at all. We talked to Joe right away. He said, as you heard, nothing wrong with that at all. Schulters carries for Pittsburgh on first down, just outside the 25-yard line, gain of 5.
No, Joe summed it up just the way it should have been summed up. Exchange means taking the two tapes, the two schools, and you exchange those tapes. Well, he didn't play in a game. He said he wouldn't exchange one either if he had played in a game and they hadn't. So he understands.
2nd and 5. Wayne Schulters wrapped up, fights his way back maybe to the line of scrimmage. Courtney Brown, the sophomore out of Alvin, South Carolina, stopped it.
I mean, would you give your tape up? Walt Harris knows he's coming in here at a tremendous disadvantage anyway. He's got a team that he inherited that he's trying to rebuild. I mean, for him, it's like going bear hunting with a stick coming into Penn State. You don't want to give them more advantages than they already have.
No, I mean, it's an acceptable practice that you exchange game tapes. And no reason at all to give him that one. And it was not created by Joe Paterno, and he put it to rest. 3rd and 5, Schulters comes our way. And then stays up, knocked down outside the 30. We'll see. He's close to a first down. I'm not sure how he stayed on his feet.
He's got it, Terry. He's got the first down, and that will be the first down for Pitt in this game. That is a tremendous effort by Schulters. This guy was almost down to the ground. He's got that low center of gravity, got his balance back, held it up with a hand, dove forward, and got the first. Great effort. Junior college guy from Nassau Community College. high school teammate of Coakley, the linebacker.
Originally out of Brooklyn, New York, and a guy who took over for Billy West a year ago, when West, after he was a sophomore in '94, was the Big East Offensive Player of the Year. We will see West today, though, along with Hank Botique. They're loaded at running back. Schulter's the intended receiver, but that pass sailed very wide out of bounds.
This is the third time that Gonzalez has been knocked down. We told you we're going to keep an eye on this, because every time he gets knocked down, he'll start thinking about it more and more, and he'll stay out of a rhythm. He's got a man open here, but instead he can feel the pressure, and as soon as he releases, he's hit by Courtney Brown, 86.
Well, they've moved the ball on the ground with Schulter. He's got a first down, but no success at all in the air. Gonzalez 0 for 4 with an interception.
Most important down in football is first down, and they're putting themselves in a hole. They aren't utilizing first down, bringing up with second and third long.
2nd and 10, the draw play, a big gain, and that's Tony Thompson, the starting fullback today, because Chris Snyder, who normally starts, has a knee injury, but that's another first down, so they move the chains again.
Good shot at Gonzalez. Again, they used good trap blocking this time. They run the draw. Penn State's expecting the pass again out of Gonzalez. They run the draw, and it's effective. You know, Penn State shows you a lot defensively. Gonzalez has to read his keys and just go through his progression, not try to do more than he's capable of.
First down, Gonzalez, straight drop, has a man over the middle. Wide open is the tight end, John Jones, all the way down to the 32-yard line of Penn State. Sean Lee on the coverage in the stop, but a gain of 22, and now a much different offense for Pittsburgh, moving the football.
You know, they call this the West Coast offense, and it's a balanced attack.
Tell me exactly what it is.
It's terminology. It's terminology that came from the West Coast. Bill Walsh started this thing. It's a balanced run, pass, attack, but you got to run to win championships, and you have to pass to set up the run. So they use little dink and dunk passes. It is very, very effective if you read your keys.
Possession passing game that you can play with a quarterback who is a star and one who is average. Not that Gonzalez is either. Jim Nelson on the stop after a gain of about 2. Schulter's on the carry, but
let's take it another step. We can tell you it's a situation, multiple attack. In other words, you run the football and you have the short passing game. Now the defense, the West Coast offense, the defense, you know, you've got to be alert to have your outside linebackers, your outside people be aware of the flats. It takes some of the pressure off the running game inside.
2nd and 9. The pitch back to Schulter. Looks for room, tripped up. Anthony Keith got there first. Well, Joe Paterno, we talked to him this week. He said, I'm not even sure what the West Coast offense is. There are so many variations on it. He said, I knew what it was when it started, but not quite sure now. But you hear that term, and for the most part, it is the possession passing offense. Yeah, Walt Harris certainly ran well when he was at Ohio State. He was there the last couple of years as the quarterback coach. This is a great drive. Last year into Pittsburgh, beat them 72-0. 9th play of the drive, 3rd and 8. A big play here for Pittsburgh. Complete inside the 20 and a first down. They'll move the chains.
Terry, I'm going to tell you right now, this kid has a gun. Gonzalez has a gun. He's finding his rhythm now. He looks more confident than he did in the first couple of drives. This kid now starting to step up and throw the ball. He threw that into a little pocket, got the completion, and bingo. Move the chains again. Now watch this. You send 2 receivers out. Take your pick. First one hooks, second one drives a little bit deeper. All of a sudden, you see number 6 there. Collins gives him the inside, and the ball's waiting for him.
Theo Angel on the catch. Collins was right there. First down from the 19. Swing pass out of the backfield to the fullback, Thompson, down to the 11-yard line. Another good gain for Pittsburgh, and for the first time this afternoon, let's take you up to New York to check in with John Saunders. What's going on, John?
Well, Terry, BYU has the nation's longest winning streak, 12 games. The last team to beat them, the team they're facing today, Washington. Rashawn Sheehy trying to help his squad back from a 7-0 deficit. Scampers 32 yards down to the 1-yard line. Some bad tackling by BYU. Maurice Shaw took the rest of the way. It's a 7-7 game. Terry.
John, thank you. Here's 2nd and 2. Straight ahead, fighting towards a first down. May have it is Schulter. He's close. We'll have to wait and see.
Schulter's showing a lot of power. He's only 5'7", 180 pounds. Looked like he should be playing Pee-wee, but that time he just drove everybody forward.
And it is a Pittsburgh first down.
So Pitt, which really looked on the ropes of being blown out of here early, now all of a sudden has first and goal inside the 9. It's got that thing a little bit.
This is not supposed to happen to Joe Paterno's defense. Chris Viola, the fullback, in motion. Gonzalez over the middle, complete to Murphy inside the 3 down to the 2-yard line. Terry Murphy, the junior out of Los Angeles, on the catch.
Boy, they caught Collins that time. Collins was coming on a blitz from the outside, and they picked it up with a quick 3-step drop and a quick slant opener before Collins could ever get to him. You can't stop that. If you have a quarterback taking that 3-step drop, I don't care what kind of blitz you're bringing, you can't get to him.
Second and goal at the 2. They lost the yard. Hank Poteet, the running back out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Mac Morrison.
Watch all the blue jerseys. Watch how everybody converges on the ball. They play defense. 11 guys become 1. Look at that. 4 guys, 4 blue jerseys on the football. They have that philosophy where they protect the perimeter, whip them up front, fill the lanes, and make the play. Jerry Sandusky, the defensive coordinator, has only been here forever. This is his 30th year at Penn State.
That's a school here. Penn State grad in '66. Biggest play so far for Pittsburgh, though. Third and goal from the 4. Gonzalez to scramble. Rifles it too hard, incomplete.
Somebody's got to tell me why he didn't run that football. He had the touchdown.
He had a clear lane to the right side of the end zone.
Absolutely wide open.
So Walt Harris's team drives all the way down the field. Take a look at the right corner.
All right, stop right there. If you stop that right there, you can see there is nobody out here. He has a clear lane to the end zone. All he had to do is take it and score.
And it was almost caught in the back of the end zone, actually. Chris Forensic now on the 21-yard field goal try. And it is good. So the Pittsburgh Panthers on the board on the field goal by Forensic. Long drive and impressive one against Penn State.
A few years ago, Dodge took a gamble on a new pickup that changed all the rules. It paid off, because Dodge Ram just won Strategic Vision's Total Quality Award for the 3rd straight year. And in its very first year, a redesigned Dodge Dakota won the Total Quality Award in its segment too. If you'd like to see why, see your Dodge dealer and take a spin.
Being 40 or 50 isn't what it used to be. As you continue to change, so can your life insurance needs. To help make sure your life insurance plan reflects where your life is headed, just call your State Farm agent. State Farm understands life.
Troy Aikman is back to pass. He's looking, and ooh, Aikman's down.
He had a man wide open. What was this guy thinking?
Brute, it's all part of the game.
All right, guys, same play. A tough case of athlete's foot can stop you in your tracks. You get that itching, the cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine at Act Stuff. Boom, tough actin Tenactin. It cures even tough cases of athlete's foot. Get tough actin Tenactin.
Pete Gonzalez leading Pittsburgh on a 15-play drive that took them down the field 76 yards, took 6.5 minutes off the clock. And now it's a 10-3 ball game.
He started 0 for 3 on the last drive. He was 4 for 5, 49 yards, got into a rhythm, built his confidence, was actually stepping into the pass. Right now, let's go down to Lewis from the sideline.
Hey, Timmy, you should have seen Pete Gonzalez as he came off the field, missing that last pass, missing the opportunity to run in for the touchdown. He was profusely apologizing to all of the offensive line, pointing at himself, saying, "My bad. I know I should have run that one in." Timmy, Terry?
Well, you can see it from up here, no question, and on the tube, so he knows it as well. But 3 on the board for Pittsburgh. And Chris Forensic sails it short. Chris Eberle at the 12. And out. still up and finally down to the 32-yard line. Eberle with the spin move and out across the 30. Reed Thompson made the stop for Pittsburgh. So a ball game early on. That's an impressive drive all the way down the field by Pittsburgh, but now Penn State gets the ball again. That's the problem.
Penn State gets the ball, they'll start to wear them down again. This is a, you know, it's a long process, as Joe said, of attrition. They like to work things. Fran Ganner, the offensive coordinator, was telling us it may take 3 quarters before they finally wear out an opponent, but they feel confident that they can wear out any team in the country eventually.
So 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Aaron Harris, the fullback, bounces off of one and then stopped at the 35.
Well, I'll tell you this, Kerry, I love Phil Clark as a linebacker. This guy is all over the field. I mean, here's a kid right here that every time the ball is in play, he's running after it to catch it. He's beating blocks, he's getting off blocks, he's running to the football. He's had a nice career at Pittsburgh. We talked about that. He's a fighter. This guy loves to play the game.
Makes the calls on the defense, and an emotional guy. Very vocal. I guess you have to be when you have 13 brothers and sisters. 2nd and 6 for the Nittany Lions. McQuarrie, straight drop, a lot of time. Has a receiver at midfield and to the 47-yard line. That's Juravicius.
Both quarterbacks now starting to set down, starting to settle in. Mike McQuarrie that time sat down in the pocket, was very patient, waited for his receiver to clear. Watch this now. First of all, he gets plenty of time. Hold it right there and just look. The only pressure he had was right here, coming in the right side. Nobody else even near him. He stays in the pocket. He looks into the seam. They're playing a zone defense. He hits his receiver, cutting into the middle, and it's perfectly executed.
Not a bad target either. Joe Juravicius at 6'5", 226 pounds. Curtis Enos with the carry on 1st down. Ahead for about 4. Well, you can follow all of ABC's regional college football coverage live, online, with real-time play-by-play displays, stats, drive charts, and more. All on America Online. Keyword ABC Sports. Mike McQuarrie, after a bit of a shaky first series, has certainly settled down and right now driving the Nittany Lions down the field. 2nd down, McQuarrie to the air. Juravicius incomplete. Trey Creighton with good coverage. The crowd wanted an interference call, but he waited to make the contact, and he has played, so far we're still early, but he's played a heck of a game so far.
I think Juravicius is shaken up too. He stayed on the ground a long time now. Obviously you can see his limp. He may have pulled something or strained something there going for the ball. They had the safety in the corner follow him. He got sandwiched and seemed to hit funny.
Tikish Pettigrew comes in for Juravicius right now. On 3rd and 7, Brad Scioli, the tight end, number 5. Former defensive lineman. Young player. Here's McQuarrie over the middle. Complete. Pettigrew loses the football. And it's on the ground at the 28-yard line.
Penn State
looked like Harris got it.
Well, I want to tell you, you said it looked as if McQuarrie was starting to get better. It's time for Big Red to step up, and I mean he has. This time he's got a little pressure, but this ball's perfectly thrown. Again, decent protection. He had to put that right in between the 1 and the 0. He did. Ball's loose, and Penn State gets it back.
Scioli, the guy who recovered it. Bill Clark made that hit. That was a heck of a hit. Pettigrew got popped. First quarter running out, 1st down, and flags. They blow it dead. Joe Paterno, who says he wants to coach 5 more years until he's 75.
Well, and he says even then he's going to reevaluate it to see how he feels. He says if he feels like this, he'll go ahead with a couple more years.
Procedure penalty against his club. Move it back 5. Rand Ganner, the offensive coordinator for Joe Paterno. You mentioned Jerry Sandusky being here 30 years. Ganter has been here 27 years and also went to Penn State, graduated here. Clearly going to throw this one away. Nice decision.
There's a 5th-year senior right there. The guy saw that he was in trouble, saw nobody was open, so rather than put the ball up for grabs, he throws it away. Been here a long time. Played behind Wally Richardson and Kerry Collins, even when he first got here, local kid, grew up right down the road at State College, Pennsylvania.
Says he hated Penn State growing up. Can you believe that?
He was like you. He was a Notre Dame fan.
He was.
That's hard to beat, but he says he's blue and white through and through now.
His parents had season tickets, he said. They weren't very good tickets. We walked up there yesterday to the top of the stadium, but he said watched every Saturday. That's out to Aaron Harris. He's popped right at the 32.
Terry, that's holding against Penn State. It was obvious. It was right in front of the umpire, and they're going to bring it back. It's going to be a penalty against Eric Cole. He just reached out and grabbed the guy.
And Harris still paid the price. It didn't help him at all.
You know, we're talking about McQueary. Joe Paterno loves McQueary. I mean, they talk, they joke. He recruited him really off a bad tape. Usually college coaches say, hey, this guy's great. They just won 40-0. Watch this guy. Instead, McQueary was in a game where they were beaten up badly. And Joe said he handled adversity very well. He wanted to recruit him.
Yeah, I liked what he saw. He said anybody can look good on a good day, but he looked good on a bad day.
I want you to watch the left hand of your screen. You'll see the hold. Stop it right there. Look at this. I mean, he's just putting his hand out. Now he pulls it back, but by then he's already mugged him.
Anytime as a lineman, if you pull your hands back that much, you look guilty, don't you? Even if you didn't hold. So the penalty and the last seconds of the first quarter tick off the clock. Beaver Stadium here at State College. Penn State up 10-3.
This is college football on ABC Sports.
Penn State up by a touchdown as we begin the second quarter. Terry Gannon along with Tim Brandt and Lewis Johnson. Penn State with the football. And they are backed up because of penalties. 2nd and 27 on the 44-yard line. A long count, and now McQueary goes down to a knee. There may have been contact in the line. We'll see how they sort it out. Penn State thinks that they drew one of the Panthers offsides. And that may have been what McQueary was trying to do, and it is an offsides penalty. Well, one of the question marks so far, everything looking good for Penn State except one thing, Joe Joravicius, who went down on this play.
He had the corner behind him, the safety coming this way. I want you to watch his legs right at the end of this play, right there. Looks like he's doing the splits. He may have pulled a groin or his upper hamstring, but this is when he rolled over, and you could tell he was in pain a little bit. He sat there for a while, then he limped off. They're working on him now, and Lewis Johnson's over there. He's checking out the injury.
Good work from Lewis in a little bit right now. Cordell Mitchell finding his way inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line. Mitchell on his first carry, the sophomore out of Syracuse, New York. Well, this is the way it has gone to this point. Penn State with 84 yards in the air. Maybe a little surprising because, you know, we expected them to come out and just run the football, and they didn't.
But a couple of things. Number one, the turnover by Pitt, you see there in the bottom left-hand corner as Joravicius comes back into the ball game. And Pitt gave Penn State some great field position also.
Yeah, the interception early on. McQueary with a lot of time. Now flushed out and dumped at the 36-yard line. Marlon Young, the junior out of Miami, got to him, but there was pressure up the middle before that.
I'll tell you this, if I'm Walt Harris, I'm loving this because this is a team that looked like it was going to get blown out early. They were 10 down, and all of a sudden they come back. They're showing character instead of quitting. This team's picking it up, playing even harder. They're chasing McQueary all over the place. Here's Young is out of the play. He has to run back from behind to catch him and takes him down. A lot of fight in this new Pitt team.
Pat Pigeon, junior out of Mayfield, Pennsylvania, on for his first punt. Jake Holford calling for the fair catch. This one a little too long. So Pigeon punt into the end zone to bring it out to the 20-yard line. Walt Harris and his young quarterback getting some confidence right now.
Kids are cool. Too cool for a family car. So check out a new Chevy Lumina LTZ. It could be the best disguised family car on the road. You'd never guess by looking at it, but no 6-passenger car in its class offers more standard safety features for the money. So don't worry. Get a Lumina LTZ. If that doesn't make your kids think you're cool, nothing will.
Greg Lowndes Lambert isn't too worried about how to invest for Zach's college education. That's because he works with a broker from Dean Witter. Together, they developed a long-term investment plan to help take Zach wherever he wants to go.
Clients feel most comfortable with our ability to see things from their perspective.
Now, when Craig looks into his son's eyes, he can see the future and smile. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
The Document Company, Xerox. In a world of trespassers and things that go bump in the night, James Belushi and James Remar are taking your protection seriously. Stephen Bochco's Total Security, ABC in 3 weeks.
13:42 left in the second quarter. 10-3 Penn State leading Pittsburgh, and Panthers take over with fifth-year senior Pete Gonzalez at quarterback, and he looked awfully good on the last drive, a 15-play drive that went 76 yards. Hands it off in the backfield on first down, not much room at all. Brandon Short in on the tackle along with Mac Morrison. Well, tomorrow live at 3:30 Eastern on ABC Sports, the USA versus Costa Rica in soccer. With a win over Costa Rica, the USA could move into second place. The top 3 teams in the region qualify for the '98 World Cup in France, which you can catch on ABC Sports. Tab Ramos, Alexi Wallace, and the guys from the Portland Civic Center. Tomorrow at 3:30. Gonzalez on the run. Has his man at the 34. And that's a first down. Jake Holford with the catch in traffic.
That's a big-time play by Pete Gonzalez. He rolled out of there, had a little trouble, got to the corner, and then threw across his body to a receiver who was going in the opposite direction. Watch this, how he almost has to throw it sidearm across his body to a guy that's going the other way for the button hook. That was a terrific play.
You look at the mobility of Pete Gonzalez, and that's the thing Penn State players talked about all week. They were worried about his scrambling ability, getting outside and being able to throw. And there's Schulters with a big gain up the middle. That's a gain of about 9 yards. So Penn State allowing the yardage again on this drive. Now, the other thing, Timmy, about Gonzalez, and we talked about what Walt Harris had to say about him. They love the fact that he's in the tape room all the time learning. This is a new system, the West Coast offense, and he has a handle on it better than any of the other players. Schulter's tripped up as he gets the ball.
Give the guy a lot of credit, too. You know, he's been hanging around and hanging around. Here he is, a fifth-year senior, and this is his first real start where he can say, hey, this is my team now. A lot of guys by that time pack it in. This is not a young quarterback. New coach coming in, you think, all right, he wants a young quarterback so he can build. But he took this guy. Gonzalez showed him he would work. He's volunteering his time all the time, as you mentioned in the video, with the assistant coach, trying to learn, and that's been impressive.
A couple of starts the last couple of years, but injuries have kept him off the field. This is his team this year, though.
Well, that's what I mean. Even though he's had the starts, this is his first start where he says, this is my club.
After changing the play on 3rd and 4, Gonzalez has a man wide open, complete inside Penn State territory. Holford with the catch. 2 big catches on this drive by Jake Holford.
Truth of the matter is, right now, Pittsburgh has Penn State on its heels. Defensively, they're a little bit off balance. They're questioning themselves. They're a little bit uncertain. They can't figure out this West Coast scheme. They're showing a lot of different formations to them, and they're running some passing schemes now where it's starting to open up things.
1st and 10 at the 45 of Penn State now. Gonzalez under pressure. He held on to the football. I'm not sure how. Courtney Brown with the sack. And Gonzalez had that thing out in his right hand. Was able to tuck it under.
Courtney Brown makes a big play. All of a sudden he's saying, yeah, all right, if they're a little bit out of sync here, a little bit trying to figure this West Coast scheme out, then I'm going to go ahead and make the sack. That's the best way to stop the passing attack. If they can't cover downfield, let me come hard. I'll hit the quarterback in the backfield. You know, spending some time here the last couple of days, these are good quality kids at Penn State, but between the lines, they have bad intentions. I mean, off the field, it's yes, sir, and a handshake. On the field, it's here I come and smash mouth.
It better be. Terry Sandusky liking that last play, at least. This Now a break in the action, a timeout taken by the Pittsburgh Panthers. We'll take a break too.
Is that a new big king? No, it's a bag, Coach. No, in the bag, son. Yes, sir, it is.
Well, what's a smart kid like you doing sitting on the bench? Get in there and play quarterback.
Really?
Like taking candy from a baby.
The new Big King from Burger King, plain broiled with 75% more beef. It's like a Big Mac, except it's bigger and tastes better. And right now, you can get one for just 99 cents.
Coach said I could play halfback.
I know a place.
America's a big country. Big. We like our skies big and our mountains extra large.
I'll take you there.
We purchased Louisiana. We bought Alaska. We wanted more beaches, so we added Hawaii. We love to spread out. That's why we gave the new Chevy Malibu more room for 5 than Camry, Accord, or Altima, and a bigger trunk than Taurus. So stretch out. It's the car you knew America could build. The brand new Chevy Malibu.
I'll take you there.
If you're looking for building materials, you got to come to the Home Depot. We sell 2x4s, we sell plywood, we sell doors, windows.
Roofing materials.
You're going to see insulation as well. You're going to see
rebar. We've got everything having to do with cement.
Our lumber department is inside, and you're not going to get all warped wood.
I could go on and on and on and on about what we've got down there.
I've got customers that have built their homes out of Home Depot.
It's incredible. You can build your house cheaper than you ever thought you could.
You're going to see ladders. I'm not finished yet.
Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. Dean Witter, there are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. And the Home Depot, America's home improvement coach. Friends of Tim Brandt, I am sure. Pete Gonzalez, the quarterback for Pittsburgh, on the move right now. But second and long, second and about 17 after the sack. Straight drop, Collins in there and forces the quick throw. May have gotten a piece of it too. Nowhere to go. Aaron Collins in the backfield right away.
Collins, 2-year starter, all-conference guy, put on 10 pounds of muscle in the offseason in the weight room. If you're untouched, though, you got to make this play, and he does. He comes hard, forces him to throw early, and there's nobody in the neighborhood. Ball was actually tipped, but I'll tell you this, he's really stepped it up in practice this week. Collins has. He's quiet. He plays it cool.
It's a great story, too. One of 19 children. They've all gone to college. They've all had scholarships. 5 have played football for Joe Paterno. His brother Jason, of course, the hero in the defense. Strong safety.
Come from a family of 19. You know what a depth chart is before you ever get to things.
Exactly. Here they come again. Brandon Short drops Gonzalez, and that pass a little bit short of Hank Botique. So as Gonzalez gets his confidence, he was 0 for 4 and then went 6 for his next 8. Here comes Penn State. Joe Paterno decides we've got to put some pressure on him.
This is a defense at Penn State, though. It's structured. It's a hunt you down, knock you silly, help you up, and do it again defense. They are not going to panic. Just make those little adjustments, and they come hard with the blitz.
Chris Everly back, awaiting the punt of Grant Copeland. Takes a Penn State bounce, a big one, now to about the 24-yard line. So it's only a punt of about 28 yards. And Joe Paterno's crew will take over there. Well, let's take a look at this week's Home Depot Chalk Talk. Joe Paterno, the subject. Arrived in 1950 as an assistant coach, 32 years as a head coach, 523 games. And when you add up what Penn State has played overall, they began playing 1887. He has been a part of more than half of their football games at Penn State. That's amazing. Curtis Enos trying the right side. It's still up. Got out to about the 29-yard line. Marlon Young made him first, but here's a guy along with Aaron Collins. One man is not going to bring down either one of those guys.
He's got good size. We told you he's got the power of a fullback. He's got the speed of a tailback. Actually was a linebacker at one point. This guy, he finds the hole. He also is very patient with his blockers. Look at him trying to read the crease. And finally he explodes through it. Now he says, all right, I've got my leverage. and he just continues to go until 2 or 3 guys can take him down. But very patient as a running back. Good vision.
Nowhere to go, but he gained 4 on that play. McQuarrie under pressure, still up though. Not anymore. Ball is loose, but I think he was down. He was. And again, Marlon Young, we're calling his number. Big number 92.
A lot of pressure from both sides. A lot of people at home may say, wait a minute. That official's got to get out of the way. The referee's got to move. Well, he's part of the field. I'm surprised right here McQuarrie doesn't use him more as a blocker. Play hide and seek behind him a little bit, at least until he can throw the ball away. Instead, he just bounced off of him and ran back into pressure coming backside.
Not a good spot to be in, though, if you're the referee. Loss of 15, so now it's 3rd and 21. McQuarrie off play action. Green pass set up to Enos. Sidesteps 1. Turns and goes up to about the 20-yard line. So he's about 3 yards short of the original line of scrimmage. E.C. Barutsis made the stop, and that's another good stand by the Pittsburgh defense.
It's a great stand, and they were in position to make the play. I mean, Gibson almost had him 10 yards even further back. They're in position. They're running to the football. They're not panicking.
Pitching on for another punt. And Hank Poteet, and his own 40-yard line, drops the ball and I believe gets it back. He does. Well, 40-yard punt, and Hank Poteet with a scary moment, but he got it back.
North Carolina was on the ropes a little bit this afternoon as the scores passed by. They were down 3-0 and being manhandled physically, but they end up winning the ball game.
Clemson with a win. That's another strong team out of the ACC. You've got Clemson and North Carolina. NC State with the upset win at Syracuse.
Dangerous play there on that punt. You can't turn the ball over at Penn State. They've already got 1 turnover. That turned into a touchdown. You cannot turn it over. Ironically, this team only turned it over 1 time last week in their win against Southwest Louisiana, and that was late in the game when substitutes were in.
Not that many penalties either, and that's something that Walt Harris talked about. He was very pleased with that. New system, first game. Not that many mistakes. Schultzer's ahead for about 2 or 3. Brandon Short, the sophomore linebacker out of McKeesport, Pennsylvania, made the stop. Short, the emotional guy of that defense, a guy who is at sometimes maybe even a little too hyper for Joe Paterno's liking.
The best starting field position for Pitt this afternoon. Watch Short, though. Brandon Short playing in the middle. He's been outside. It's unusual for a guy to change positions, and before he's even played his first game in that position, he's a Butkus Award candidate.
Gonzalez under pressure again. But he dropped it. Terry Murphy not only had it, but he had a lot of green ahead of him.
And Gonzalez paid the price. Gonzalez hung in as long as he could. He delivered the ball. The ball was perfectly thrown, and Murphy just dropped it. He cannot afford to drop a pass like that because Gonzalez put it right there perfectly.
This may have been 6.
Watch Gonzalez hang in here. I mean, he waits, and then he gets sandwiched, but the ball is perfectly thrown, and somehow Murphy, who's got good speed, he had 2 touchdowns last week, he's a good player, somehow drops the football. Can't do that. Terrible play.
So it brings up 3rd and 9, and Gonzalez wants to burn the second timeout.
Terry, that's 4 knockdowns on Gonzalez, too. Eventually, that's going to take its toll.
A long day if you get knocked down like that. Second timeout for Pittsburgh. 3rd down when we come back.
Kids are cool. Too cool for a family car. So check out a new Chevy Lumina LTZ. It could be the best disguised family car on the road. You'd never guess by looking at it, but no 6-passenger car in its class offers more standard safety features for the money. So don't worry. Get a Lumina LTZ. If that doesn't make your kids think you're cool, nothing will.
Outlined against a blue-gray sky, the lone horseman rides again. A man who stands for all that is college football. His blood is UCLA Bruin blue entering his heart, and Ball State red going out. His gums are Texas burnt orange, his teeth Georgia Tech yellow. But he is all NCAA.
Pile on.
Stay close to your TVs. You're only seconds away from a sneak peek at the new ABC Family Tuesday. Here we come. First, Dan Aykroyd's back in Soul Man. Tim Curry and Annie Potts are over the top. Home Improvement hammers out another great season.
Acting like some tyrannical fascist.
Did he just call me a dinosaur?
All topped off with Kevin Nealon and Richard Lewis in Hiller and Diller.
There are my seedlings.
Soul Man, Over the Top, Home Improvement, Hiller and Diller. The new ABC Family Tuesday coming soon.
Penn State band on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon here at State College, about 76, 77 degrees. A little breeze. It's been chilly, though. It's felt like a college football weekend. The last couple of nights. 3rd and 9 after the timeout. Gonzalez with the straight drop. Swing pass out of the backfield, and Schulters dropped it. It was a little bit ahead of him.
Defensively, Penn State playing a little cat and mouse now. They came hard. They ran a couple of stunts. They brought Collins from the outside. This time they sat back, known as 3rd and long, sat in a zone. So Pitt tried to beat him with a little short screen, and it didn't work.
Frank Cofield, the sophomore out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania, is on for the punt. Chris Eberly back deep at his own 18-yard line. Eberly doesn't call for the fair catch. He didn't have enough room though. Flags come down. We'll see, because this year there's not only the penalty for being within the 2-yard space, but if it is deemed by the official to be excessive, there can be a 15-yard penalty.
I understand the rule. I understand why they put it in to protect this guy. But if you're coming down to cover a punt, that's perfect timing. He makes the catch, boom, you hit him. I mean, Allen was there to go ahead and tag him. I understand the rule, and it's the 2-yard circle thing, but I hate to see guys penalized like that for an aggressive play.
Spoken like an old defensive player.
Well, I know Joe Paterno is probably going to say, he'll call me and say, what are you, crazy? This guy's looking up. He's not protected. But from the other side, that guy's playing good aggressive football. He times it and bangs it. And yes, there was a slobbing knock.
Joe Paterno called you?
Personal foul against Pittsburgh, a 15-yard penalty. Yeah, but when he calls Miles now, he's not calling for me.
So it is a 15-yard penalty. There is a youngster in your family that's a football player. Let's qualify that, all right? So it's first down at the 34-yard line. Vicious in motion. Play action for McQuarrie. Flushed out. A lot of room to run. And Curtis Enos ahead of him with a block. A first down inside Pittsburgh territory, knocked out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. A good decision by McQuarrie. A gain of 22 yards before Curtis McGee knocked him out of bounds.
It's an excellent decision by McQuarrie. I mean, Big Red now has stepped up. He looks, he's got protection, but all of a sudden he feels the middle collapse on him a little bit, and his vision shows the right side wide open. Just get to the sidelines, don't take a hit, get out of bounds. Does take a little bit of a hit here, but it's more of a push. Great play by the 5th-year senior.
Pettigrew in now for Vicious in motion to the near side. Fighting his way to the 35-yard line, but a yard and a half shy of another Penn State first down. They're moving the football now again like they were early on. Well, tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern time, the World Gymnastics Championships from Lausanne, Switzerland, the men's and women's team competition, as well as the men's all-around. Then at 7 Eastern time, don't miss the women's all-around competition. Americans Dominique Moceanu and Kristen Maloney have already qualified for that. It all begins at 1:30 Eastern tomorrow night. Goes back to Enos once again. And he's got a Penn State first down. So now you see a Nittany Lion offense like we expected to see.
You know, you don't want to analyze Enos. You just want to sit back and admire him. I mean, this guy is outstanding. And obviously, this is a school that's had some tremendous running backs. Lenny Moore, Franco Harris, John Cappelletti, Kajana Carter, and Warner. But this is a guy that's going to be listed among them. He may even surpass them as he's about to go to the 2,000-yard career mark.
Again for McQuarrie. Vicious with a catch, and he was popped from both angles as soon as he caught the football. E.C. Ferrutzis had him from behind. That's concentration. a big target, too. You look at Joe Jurevicius, 6'5", 226, 90s prototype receiver.
He's a student of the game, too. Learned a lot playing behind Freddie Scott, Bobby England.
So it's first down, ball rests on the 15-yard line. Harris, the fullback, may have gone ahead for about a yard. That's it. 6:27 and counting here until halftime.
You know, you mentioned Jurevicius and the big target and the fine reception, but watch what this guy does when he's not being thrown to. All right, he locates his man, rides him out of the way. There's not a great big hole there, but he did his job, coming back and taking him, folding him back to the inside past the linebackers. Actually took 2 people out of the play.
2nd and 8 now. And Jurevicius comes to the near side. And here come the Panthers on the blitz. Penn State picks it up. Scioli, the intended receiver, contact, no flag. Chuck Brown, the cornerback out of Bradenton, Florida.
Take another
people
look
here
at it.
thought he got there early, Jimmy.
Well, the side judge looks at it. He says it's incidental contact. Both are looking back for the ball. Watch the helmets. All right, they're looking back. Incidental contact. He has as much right to go for the football as the offensive guy does. McQuarrie gets tagged pretty good here, but he still wants to know if he's got a touchdown. That's a good no call.
Good call. You're right. So 3rd and 8 now. Harris, the one set back. McQuarrie gets hit as he throws. Jurevicius to the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown pass of 14 yards from McQuarrie, who was hit just as he threw the football to Joe Jurevicius, his favorite wide receiver. He had 4 touchdown catches a year ago, the leading receiver for this Nittany Lion team.
First thing right there, they pick up the blitz. Now watch this. They're isolated on Baruchis, number 34, the linebacker. That is absolutely no contest for Jurevicius. He's just run by and makes the touchdown. So 2 things made that play work. Number 1, they picked up the blitz. Number 2, they had Jurevicius, a wide receiver and a big one, locked on to a linebacker that he can outrun.
So it is 17-3. Penn State with the lead after struggling a little bit offensively. Jurevicius and McQuarrie get them going again, and there's no way that Baruchis is going to stay with Jurevicius one-on-one.
See McQuarrie, he's saying that's nicely done, guys. Hey, thanks for the block up front on the blitz. Jurevicius ran under the ball. He put a little air under it. Jurevicius, the 6'5", 226-pounder, just knew he had a mismatch.
Well, Joe Paterno, as every coach, he is coming into a season wanting to know what he could expect from this team. All the hype, all the talent that is back. Still a pretty young team now. And number 2 ranking, some polls number 1. So far, learning some things, but now, what are your thoughts? You look around the country, you got the Tennessees, the Floridas, the Florida States, the Penn States. Certainly a club, I guess, that's going to be there throughout the year in Penn State. Another one from Forney out of the end zone. Talk about that in a moment. First, next week, America's biggest road show invades Ann Arbor, live at noon Eastern. Number 7, Colorado takes on number 14, Michigan. They've had some great matchups over the years. Then, live regional action begins at 3:30 Eastern on ABC Sports. Most of you will see Notre Dame with new head coach Bob Davie take on Purdue. Other action as well. Check your local listings for the game on your ABC station, and the game's available on your cable operator. Notre Dame with that game at home in the remodeled Notre Dame Stadium. Schulter's on the carry straight ahead. Gets to about the line of scrimmage, but David Fleischauer, the sophomore out of Clemens, North Carolina, met him there, and so far the Pittsburgh Panthers have been going with Dwayne Schulters pretty much exclusively. We've seen Hank Poteet, but we haven't seen Billy West yet.
Billy West is a scrapper, too. I'm sure you will see him. You were asking about number one. I'm one of those traditionalists. I believe if you're number one, you've got to be knocked out of that spot. Now, I'm not a big believer of the preseason polls, but I think September 20th, when this team is playing Louisville, there are those that will watch the winner of the Tennessee Florida game and say, I think they deserve to be number one.
Nowhere to go. Right at the line of scrimmage, Schulters gets the same result. Chris Snyder wrapped them up. Tough going for Schulters so far. 13 carries for only 22 yards. Snyder, a senior out of Chesapeake, Virginia, had 5 sacks a year ago, and an interesting guy. He's, as you look at Schulters coming off the field, but Chris Snyder into the martial arts, and says really he's learned to use his hands that way, and especially rushing the passer. The blitz from Collins picked up over the middle. Poteet with the catch at the 26, but he's not near the first down. Jason Collins on the coverage, but it was his brother Aaron who is right on top of Pete Gonzalez. Again,
Aaron Collins is one of those guys, too, that's a linebacker, but he can run with the wide receivers. Watch this guy now. He's 234 pounds, but he runs. And again, they're knocking Gonzalez, and that's knockdown number 6.
He's been in there 3 or 4 times untouched. Cofield's punt. Everly wanted to get there, but now he backs off. Pittsburgh bounced down to the 23-yard line, so a good punt from Cofield. 53 yards. Well, this is a series that has had a lot of great games throughout the years, and right now we take a look at one of the classic matchups. This week's Marriott moment takes us back to 1980 with Penn State trailing Pitt. Quarterback Todd Blackledge trying to bring him back.
I called a play to kill the clock, to throw the ball out of bounds on the sideline, and I got caught in the middle, and Carlton Williamson intercepted it on the sideline, and I had to go over there and make a tackle on the Pitt sideline, and it was just the most miserable feeling I ever had.
14-9 is how it would end, but Blackledge would get his revenge. We'll see that a little later. It's going to be tough talking to Todd after this one. Just showing that. But trust me, folks, he does get his revenge. Chuck Brown on the tackle. Curtis Enos ahead for about 1 yard as we have 3:20 and counting left until halftime. Well, you think of the names, though, that have played in this series, and the Dan Marinos, the Hugh Greens, the Todd Blackledges, the Franco Harrises. McQuarrie to throw on second down. Joe Vicious with a first down. Another big catch out to the 45, maybe the 46-yard line. And let's check in and get a Burger King update from John Saunders in New York. John?
All right, Terry, thanks a lot. Tennessee and UCLA, and Tennessee's offense not moving that well, at least not getting the ball into the end zone enough. But 25 yards here, Jermaine Copeland with Peyton Manning. 2-point conversion is good. That's your Burger King update. By the way, guys, my partner's not too happy with you guys right now.
Hey, John, we'll make it up to him. We'll show the other side of the story.
Tell him to keep watching. Our producer, Mark Loomis, said we have to show the good side of Todd Blackledge. Incomplete pass. Jurevicius again, the intended receiver. This time, good coverage, though, from Chuck Brown, the junior out of Bradenton, Florida.
It's great coverage. I mean, this guy playing inside out again. He's an experienced cagey defensive back. He has a vertical jump of 38 inches, but he just took the inside out, used the sideline to his advantage, and just rides him. Now, watch this. He's playing inside. He knows the sideline's outside. Now he looks, the receiver's looking back, so he says, all right, now I'm going to kind of play the inside, to put him on my back, look for the ball. Great play.
And they teach you that now, to watch the receiver's eyes, and at the last moment, bring that hand up between his hands. There's no way he can make the catch.
Had he turned his head quicker, he might have had the pick.
Curry 8 for 15 so far. He goes to the ground this time with Enos. Look at how strong Curtis Enos is. To the 42-yard line and knocked out of bounds. He's got a Nittany Lion first down. Forget the arm tackles. Forget one tackler. Need a couple to bring him down.
I told you at the beginning of the game, this guy is special. There's no quit in him. He loves to run the football. He also, if he can't outrun you, he'll love to bang you. The stiff arm, the little spin, the low center of gravity. Now he gets up a little more speed before 2 more guys finally take him out of bounds. He just ran out of sideline there. Boy, what a player.
A nice block to Springer. 38 yards on the afternoon. Sekas Pettigrew in motion to the far side. But it's Enos going this way, wrapped up, not going anywhere this time. Bill Clark, we've called his name often so far.
He's had a great first half, Clark has. 235 pounds. He's been flying all over the field. Knows the difference between come here and sick him. I'll tell you that. He wants to play. He doesn't care it's Penn State #1 in the nation.
He started 6 games in '96, but he's had knee injuries the last 2 years and a hand injury as well.
More important, Terry, that play right there sets up a 2nd and 13 situation. That is a big first down play for the Pitt defense.
Chris Everett, fumble, ball on the ground. Pitt thinks they have it. They do, and they do. E.C. Valutis knocked the ball out of Chris Everly's hands. And you mentioned the stop on first down. How about this? This is a huge play.
When you take away the first down gain, it changes the entire plan of what you're going to be able to do now. It's 2nd down and long. You know they're probably going to pass. They go to a safe pass in the flats. But you got Valutis, the linebacker, out there, and his hat hits the football. Got a little bit of luck there with the positioning of his head on the tackle. But white jerseys flying around. They end up with a turnover. It's a big stop by Pittsburgh.
Jeff McCurley, the freshman out of Union Valley, Pennsylvania, on the recovery. And watch Joe's reaction on the sideline. Billy West in at running back with the first down for Pittsburgh now. First down from the 46. And they'll blow it dead.
Penalty marker on the flag.
And don't forget, at the conclusion of today's game, we will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. Chevrolet has awarded over $6.5 million for the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities.
Walt Harris is going to win at Pittsburgh. He's good, smart, solid coach. He inherited a weak, slow football team, but he's made some changes. They've worked hard. He put in successful concepts. It takes time to recover from reconstructive surgery, and that's what this program at Pitt has. He's bringing them back there.
The swing pass. Centers out of the backfield near the original line of scrimmage.
He steps out of bounds. 2nd down.
Get a look from John Saunders right now at what's coming up at the half.
Coming up on Valvoline Halftime 97, all the day's scores and highlights. 3 of the top 5 teams in action this afternoon. Todd Blackledge joins me, plus ABC News will have more on funeral services for Princess Diana.
All right, John. 1:36 left until halftime. Pittsburgh trying to get something on the board before half. Is that complete or not? Holford, and it's incomplete.
Linesman said incomplete. He had a different angle than the side judge. Side judge was ready to mark it. The linesman came all the way down the field from the 47-yard line and said, no, it hit the ground. Coaches aren't happy with that.
Neither was Holford.
Well, let's take another look at it and let's see. I tell you what, it looks like his hands were under it. That's a catch. Linesman looked at it from a distance and it looked like it bounced. Well, it did, but it bounced off his hand. His hand was under the ball. That's a catch. Bad call.
So it is 3rd and almost 10 now. 3rd and a long 9. Under pressure, Gonzalez dumps, incomplete. Holford, the intended receiver again, but Gonzalez spending a lot of time on this turf.
He's been dumped the last 2 plays. We're up now to 7 knockdowns.
He's got that flak jacket on. He needs it today.
Well, he does. I mean, the one thing this does is it makes you think. Now, that's not a terribly big hit, but it's one of those awkward hits where he's saying, wait a minute, do I still have my Achilles?
Grant Cofield on for a punt. It's Joe Nastasi now back deep at his own 14 in for Chris Everly. Nastasi popped and knocked out of bounds. Helmet-to-helmet contact. So just about the 23-yard line, that's where Penn State will take over. Well, 47-41-4. This is the 93rd meeting between these two schools. Some great matchups over the years. Penn State has won 4 in a row. Of course, they haven't played since 1992. They'll play 4 years, and then who knows after that. But Pittsburgh, 4-7 up here. That's the only team to beat Joe Paterno that many times here at Beaver Stadium.
And you know, I've missed this. Being an East Coast guy, I've missed this series. Usually they play near the end of the season when it's cloudy and cold, freezing rain.
Scheduling and conference affiliations, the things that have to do with
and there are stories on both sides whose fault it was. Pittsburgh folks obviously believe it was Paterno's fault. You know, and he's saying, well, it's something we had to do. He tried to start his own all-sport East Coast League and wanted them to join it.
Penn State not sitting on the football line. Swing pass out to Curtis Enos out to the 30. He's got a first down. 53 seconds remaining in the first half. They've got all 3 timeouts remaining. So now you get a look at maybe your 2-minute drill if you're Joe Paterno.
Yeah, and it's good work for Joe Paterno's team, too, because, again, he's got McQuarrie. He's a smart quarterback. Now he wants him to work in this situation down the road when they're playing a team that could be challenging him for the national championship. This is going to be big. 53 seconds left. You mentioned they have all 3 timeouts, and he wants McQuarrie also to use the sidelines.
Anthony Cleary now in at fullback. He's the lone back in the backfield. Curtis Enos split to the near side. 3 receivers set. McQuarrie with the straight drop. Over the middle, complete up to the 45-yard line. That's the big tight end, Concho Brown.
That stops the clock with 47 seconds left while they move the chains. So right away, McQuarrie already yelling out the play, telling him what he wants, getting him to the line.
That's a big target in Brown and a heck of a basketball player in high school. He runs well. McQuarrie tries to get it out to Enos.
All right, that play won't hurt you. It stops the clock. McQuarrie now looks for his play on the sideline. You have 42 seconds to go.
Don't forget, 42 seconds from now, at least game clock wise. Valvoline halftime 97. John Saunders, Todd Blackledge, and all the scores and highlights from a busy day in college football around the country.
You've got a field goal kicker, Travis Forney, who's kicking in his first game, really, where he's the kicker. In high school, he had a record 48-yarders. They want to get down to at least the 40-yard line.
Mitchell in for Enos now in a big run. He has a Penn State first down. To the 44-yard line of the Panthers. DJ Dinkins, the strong safety, made the stop.
Timeout, Penn State.
And Penn State will take a timeout right now.
Good-looking drive, isn't it? Still have 35 seconds left.
So 17-3, Penn State trying to put more on the board before halftime. Well, tonight, don't forget, primetime matchup, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Bobby Bowden and his Florida State Seminoles, number 5 team in the country, taking on the USC Trojans, ranked number 21. That's at the LA Coliseum. John Robinson with 3 young quarterbacks. John Fox getting the start. But heck of a matchup out on the West Coast. Takes place at 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on ABC. And to think John Robinson a year ago under so much pressure in one win can make them forget, at least for a while, the win over Notre Dame at the end of the year. And this would certainly be a huge one for him to start this season. And you think back to a year ago, it was Penn State with the win over USC, and Curtis Enos really becoming a household name with sports fans, rushing for over 240 yards in that game.
He becomes a focal point here as well. The big target, obviously, is Vicious, but also Enos in the flats.
Play action, McQuarrie with time, throws, complete to Joe Vicious, Hernandez, down to the 20-yard line. A big gain, a first down, will stop the clock.
Chains move, still using the clock effectively. Still 28 seconds. That's an eternity for McQuarrie. Boy, McQuarrie looks great here. He looks like a curator of clock.
You got to like how he's handling this 2-minute drill for Joe Paterno, too. Gained a 24 on that play. Throws that one away. A little bit wide, Cordell Mitchell out there.
Second down.
Okay, now you're well within the range of Travis Forney, obviously. If he had a 48-yarder in high school, we watched him kick the other day at practice. He's got a very strong leg. Larry Johnson done very well with the special teams. He's confident in them. So that takes some of the pressure off the offense. They've worked the clock effectively here, and they still have plenty of time with 22 seconds to go.
Harris and Mitchell in the backfield. McQuarrie, quick drop to throw on the rollout. Vicious catches another one at the 12-yard line. He had 5 catches for 88 yards just before that pass, so he keeps rattling up the yardage. And Penn State burns another timeout.
That's smart on Penn State's part.
We got 12 seconds left until halftime. You've got your field goal right now. Trying to get to the end zone and get 6. Valvoline halftime 97, of course, does come up next.
Joe wants to go over all the reminders with Mike McQuarrie. Alerting to the fact that you've got 12 seconds left. You don't want to waste too much time. You don't want to be caught on the ground. Let the clock roll. If you don't have anybody open, you want to throw it away. We don't want to waste the opportunity we have with the field goal. Looks like you may go for the field goal right now.
Hey, everybody back now. Here we go.
6 catches for almost 100 yards already.
He wouldn't go now with 12 seconds. He's got to give it. He's got plenty of time for at least another play.
Yeah, maybe 2.
Also has 1 timeout left, so
Jurevicius in. Curtis Enos back in, along with Aaron Harris in the backfield. Brad Scioli is in at tight end, so it's not a 3-receiver set for Joe Paterno. Play action from McQuarrie. Nobody open, and he almost threw that one into the hands of a Pitt defender. He tried to throw it away, but that's a dangerous pass when you throw it over the middle of the field.
I'm not sure it was a misread by either McQuarrie or Brown. He was going for Concho Brown, the tight end. Brown rolled to the outside. He threw it to the inside. Watch this. He's looking for number 82. And you'll see when he does hook. All right, here he goes now. When he hooks, Concho goes to the left. The ball goes to the right, incomplete.
So Forney comes on for a second field goal try of the day, a 29-yard attempt.
He's got a strong leg.
And no doubt about it. So he has hit from 24 yards and now 29 yards. 2 for 2 on the season, 2 for 2 for his career.
What a weapon that will be. There are very few weaknesses in this Penn State football team, although Joe Paterno will tell you, hey, we're still very, very young. A lot of things still are uncertain. Well, he's got a lot of talent. All they need is a little more experience. This is an outstanding football team. They look like number 1 to me
so far. Well, it's a man who is 70 years old, but he's got more energy than, well, I know Tim Brantner. We saw him at practice the other night, and, he likes to get out there and run sprints with his offensive linemen. He was all over the field.
Joe is classic consistency. He's changed some over the years, no question about that, but his basic philosophy, his quality of truth, the hard work, the loyalty he told us about, they've all remained consistent. He is special. He was tough to play against. His teams were always well prepared. He is an outstanding coach.
You know what, though? After the 92 season in which they struggled, he went to the players that were coming back, and he asked them what he could improve. And they were honest with him, so he says, and he took it to heart. He said, if you're not open to that from the players, you shouldn't be in the game. You have to adapt with the game and with the players. Schulter's 8 yards deep once again.
Taken down by number 20, Dwayne Schulter's in the end zone.
Yeah, that's what I say. He's changed some. Yeah, you talk about his relationship now with McQuarrie, and they talk, they joke, they have a great relationship. Ask Todd Blackledge if that's the kind of relationship he had. There was a time when Joe was very stern and did not open up with a lot of people.
You mean Todd Blackledge, the man who threw the interception in 1980 against the Pittsburgh Panthers? That Todd Blackledge?
No, the one that brought Penn State back when they were 14 down the next year to win the game.
So Gonzalez to one knee in the last play of the first half. Penn State with the lead at halftime, 20-3. Valvoline halftime 97 comes up next with John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. We'll be back in a little bit. Enos again to the right side. Looks for room, picks his spots, and maybe gets ahead for a couple. That's about it. Brown in on the stop, along with Damon Gibson, a sophomore out of Penn Hills High School in Pittsburgh. Haven't called his name very often, but here's a guy. Enos again to the right side. Looks for room, picks his spots, and maybe gets ahead for a couple. That's about it. Brown in on the stop, along with Damon Gibson, a sophomore out of Penn Hills High School in Pittsburgh. Haven't called his name very often, but here's a guy who was a freshman starter a year ago, the only returning starter on that defensive line, but didn't start last week. one of the problems, tough to push away from that table, a little bit overweight, so he's working his weight down and now playing as much as anybody during the second game. McQuarrie on the roll, no one ahead of him. Throws a pass, Nastasi in the end zone, touchdown. How about the throw on the run from Mike McQuarrie? 32-yard strike to Joe Nastasi, the junior out of Woodbury, Pennsylvania.
Boy, you're not kidding. Not only to throw on the run, but look, he's got to throw back across his body on the run. Very difficult to do. Then he finds Nastasi, who's going the opposite direction. Nastasi worked his way up. He's from a small high school. He came in here. He was the field goal. Finally got his chance. Now he's got the touchdown in the bank.
And here comes a tad early. Nastasi, high school basketball player as well, and his brother may set the all-time scoring record in Pennsylvania for high school. AJ still in high school.
Offside on the defense. After this penalty.
Nastasi was a small high school player of the year. I'll tell you what, that play right there was just nicely done by McQuarrie. McQuarrie actually could have run the ball. Instead, he saw Nastasi out there, and he had about 4 steps on the defender. Laid it up, put some air under it.
Travis Warning for the point after. It's good. To Joe Nastasi. Impressive opening drive for the Nittany Lions at Delta.
Somewhere, some poor slob's punching a time clock. He don't know what he's missing.
Come on, get up, son. Chris may have been pleased first half with the defensive effort, but can't be pleased with what he saw in the opening drive for Penn State here in the second half.
You know, in the scheme, I don't think they really had to make too many adjustments on that last series, other than getting after some people. Amount of containment. Coaches can't get out and do that. They gave them the scheme. The players have to put a little more effort forth. That wasn't by Pittsburgh.
Poteet and Schulters back deep. Awaiting Forney's kick. Schulters to 22. Got out there quickly, went down quickly.
Oh, what a hit.
Ahmad Collins, number 50, laid it to him.
Boy, did he ever.
Pittsburgh starts first and 10 on its own 22-yard line.
When you think about the entire offseason, hoping to get one of those throughout the season, and he gets it in the first game.
Yeah, but if you're the receiver, then you start questioning who you are, where you are. If you'll be.
So it's first down at the 22. Tony Thompson in at fullback now, along with Schulters in the backfield. Dwayne Schulters gets the carry, fights out of the arms of one tackler, but Courtney Brown wrapped him up. Tough going for Schulters this afternoon. Not much at all going for Pittsburgh. Most done has been in the air.
Penn State linebackers, as always, are super this year. We talked about them at the beginning. 3 Butkus Award candidates, as good as anybody's. North Carolina's right up there, but this one's special. Linebacker you, Matt Millen tells us that all the time.
And different personalities too. They complement each other out there.
Well, isn't that the truth?
Ball is loose, but it was whistled dead. Chris Snyder knocked it loose. The defensive end.
That's a good point about their personalities. I mean, you've got Aaron Collins, who's very quiet, very reserved. He's that kind of leader. Then you got Brandon Short, 43 right there. He's hyperactive, intense, a perfectionist. Fought through a broken foot. He's now starting at middle linebacker. Then you've got Jimmy Nelson. Jim's 44. And here's a guy that he's solid. He's calculated. They say he always blows a couple assignments to start the game because he's so excited, but then he settles down. He's very consistent, probably between Short and Collins in personality.
You know, Nelson wants to be an FBI agent. I hope he doesn't blow any assignments early on there. 3rd and 6 for the Panthers. Quick toss out of the backfield Tony Thompson, the fullback. He has a first down. Thompson, the redshirt freshman, 5'11", 235, in there for an injured Chris Schneider, who played a week ago, and you look at Thompson a little bit banged up right now, but Schneider out with a knee injury, still sore.
Thompson really shows you something here. He's 235 pounds. Look at him put the shoulder down. He's got good balance, stays in bounds, picks up another 4 yards. He's tough to bring down. Now, he did not play much last week because he was coming back from the flu, but he's strong here today.
It's been one of the pleasant surprises for this coaching staff coming in, not knowing what to expect and evaluating all the talent when they first got there. Loss of about 1 or 2. Forget about it. Schneider, who just forced what would have been a fumble. And there's a flag on the play.
All right, that was a running play, and there's a penalty on it. But I'm still going to call that a knockdown because Courtney Brown, the defensive end, came down and after the handoff put Gonzalez right on his butt.
Well, physically it counts for Gonzalez at least. That's
sure it does. Now watch this.
Knockdown.
Here comes. Boom. That's a knockdown. That's number 8.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Holding penalty backs him up 10 yards.
He actually stayed up.
He held him up. Walt Harris, who was pleased with last week's effort against Southwestern Louisiana in all phases, and especially the lack of mistakes being the first game in a new system. Now see some penalties racking up here at State College.
That was on Kirk McMullen, the tight end who was holding.
So it's first and about 23. There goes Brown with a shovel pass out, almost picked off. Collins was there. Schulter's the back out of the backfield. And Aaron almost had him one.
Courtney Brown again coming off that left end spot. Number 86 chased him down, and it was a terrific play by Gonzalez just to get rid of the ball and not take the sack. Watch 86 here. Gives a little inside-outside move, then the little swim, gets past him, makes a big play, and then Gonzalez unloads it.
He's beating a pretty good offensive lineman, too, in Orlandini.
He sure is, but that was a great play by both guys. Brown made a great play to get there. Gonzalez to get rid of it and not take the sack.
A couple of sacks last year for Brown. 2nd and 23. 3 receivers set now for the Panthers. Schulter's on the draw. At the 25, Brandon Short, number 43, got there first.
Brandon Short played outside linebacker last year, rush in. Was an All-American inside linebacker at McKeesport High School, so they said, all right, we need an inside linebacker. We're going to move you back in there. He's done a great job. Boy, he struggled in the spring a little bit, but he's now feeling very comfortable in the position, and he's a ferocious tackler, just a ferocious linebacker.
One of the biggest thrills, he says, in his athletic career, though, came in high school. He stopped Aaron Harris at the goal line 4 times. He went on to win a state championship. Aaron Harris now in the backfield for Penn State. Gonzalez can run. He pays the price, though. Jim Nelson just pounded him at the 35. Gonzalez has taken some licks today.
Takes one here. It's a good read and a good play by Gonzalez. Almost looks like it was a quarterback draw, but Nelson really makes him pay.
Beverly back. Fair catch at the 26-yard line. So a punt of 39 yards and no return. The Nittany Lions rolling here in State College. Crisp, clean, classic taste. And Nike. Little breeze, but a gorgeous afternoon here in State College. It got down to, what, about 40 degrees the last couple of nights. So first chill of the fall, what would be the fall. The football season, let's say. Mike McQuarrie, the quarterback for Penn State, going deep. Well covered down there is the receiver, but it's caught at the 31-yard line. Shafi Fields with a catch, and he came back to get it because the coverage was there. Chuck Brown was step for step with Fields. He just didn't play the ball.
Fields may have gotten away with a push, but the ball was well thrown. McQuarrie, this is his coming out party, and even though he's a 5th-year senior, he has really gotten comfortable here now with this offense. Just unleashes this ball. Here's a native of State College. Now watch this. See if there's a little push here. Whoop! Just a little hand shove in the back. But the ball was underthrown. His receiver got to it. Big completion for Penn State to move the ball, move the chains. First down.
Gain of 43 on that pass play.
I was surprised when we talked to McQuarrie the other day after practice, and he said, I hated Penn State growing up. Just loved Notre Dame.
Yeah, he said he came here every Saturday. And by the way, Curtis Enos with a carry a moment ago, right into the line, actually lost a yard. But McQuarrie said, oh, yeah, I used to cheer against them. Everything seemed to go their way. They got all the breaks, and I couldn't stand them. Aaron Harris, a nifty move to the outside, back to the original line of scrimmage, gain of about 2. And Lewis Johnson, what do you have down on the sideline?
Well, guys, I can tell you, Mike McQuarrie is not cheering against his team now, of course. Hey, look, about 10 rows behind the Penn State bench, there's his dad. And he says that Mike and he have been talking frequently in the preseason. He's just wanted to get out here, play the game, loving the #1 status and all that. Also, listen to this. During the game, Mike and his dad make eye contact frequently during the game. He kind of gives him that dad's pumped fist to say, hey, you're doing a great job. But he wanted me to tell Coach Paterno he promises that he's not coaching from behind the Penn State bench, guys.
I don't think Joe's looking over his shoulder, actually. I think he's pretty secure at this moment. Flags down. McQuarrie, by the way, and his father, obviously, from just a few miles from here, right at the base of Nittany Mountain.
Joe loves him, though. They've got a great relationship. They talk, they joke, they have a tremendous respect for each other.
And we asked Joe about his quarterback, and he told us all those things a couple of days ago.
Dead ball.
And I literally just said to the staff, hey, we're going to recruit him. I just like the way he handled the adversity. I like some of the things he did under a tremendous amount of pressure. It's easy to pick a quarterback when everything goes right. I think sometimes you find out a lot more about them when they're struggling. And he's just been he's a great kid. I'm really very, very fond of him, too, and his family. I'm pulling for him.
Joe speaking about a game in high school in which they lost, and he's still like the quarterback. And there's the pass from McQuarrie down to Shoppy Fields. Another big reception for Fields inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line, gain of 23.
Joe says he's pulling for him, doesn't have to pull too hard because I think McQuarrie's found the range now. He's gone to the big guy, Jurevicius. Now he's going to Fields, the speed guy, runs a 4.440. And I guarantee you, Dad sitting in the stands loves that. That's my boy, guys. That's my boy.
That looks like he can get out there and play a little bit. Maybe at lineman. Too big. Curtis Enos powers his way down to the 3. And it looks like a tired defense on the field for Pittsburgh. Curtis McGee, the senior out of Bridgeport, Ohio, made the stop. But they have yet to find a way here in the second half of stopping Curtis Enos and Mike McQuarrie.
Unusual to see a linebacker turn tailback. Usually they go to the fullback spot. Then you have Enos, who's not only 233 pounds, but he's quicker than Gossett. Leads blocks easier than most people read headlines.
Chris Everly in the slot, now in motion. Enos looking for his hole. He found it and found the end zone. 4-yard run from Enos. We may see that a lot this year. And let me ask you, Timmy, while we look at Curtis Enos, certainly one of the top running backs in the nation, over 1,200 yards a year ago. Good blocking on the right side, but in terms of the Heisman race, where do you put him in there? I mean, Peyton Manning obviously has it right now to lose.
I agree with that. I think Peyton Manning obviously is the front runner, and as long as he plays well like he's doing today against UCLA, he'll win it. I like Enos a lot. Enos is a junior who will have his chance. But, you know, you can say, we said at the top of the show, Enos is a candidate for the Heisman. You can say he's a candidate for the Manning, because right now, you're right, it's Manning's to win or lose.
Well, and Curtis Enos says that he's going to be around another year, only a junior, and he said the other day in an article that it's not going anywhere.
Terry, look at it this way. Nobody in the country has gotten as much publicity as Peyton Manning. Nobody is more aware of every step Peyton Manning takes, but football fans that read the headlines every week. It'd be hard not to give it to him since it's a popularity contest, and besides that, he deserves it. I think he's the best college football player in the country.
John Cappelletti, one who has won the Heisman here as a running back. Some great running backs at Penn State, and Joe Paterno with the knowledge of that, but he ranks Curtis Enos very high on that list. So it is 34-3. Forney, a busy man with his kickoffs today, and a couple of field goals too. Poteet and Schulter's back deep again. Schulter's with his back turn, 9 yards deep to one knee.
On the cutback, Pittsburgh takes over 1st and 10, and it's on the 20-yard line.
And let's send it up to New York to check in again with John Saunders. John, how you doing?
I'm doing a lot better than Northwestern right now, facing Wake Forest. They lost to them last year, and again on the road. Brian.
John, it's time to quit playing them down there if you're Northwestern.
This week, Terry.
Trying to pull off the upset again. Billy West with the carry. It's going backwards.
Barnadole was there to make the stop. He was the defensive most valuable player on his high school team. He's continued to develop here at Penn State. He's tenacious. He's had a fine career. He's a senior now. Lost his dad in the spring, and his dad played at Pitt. This is an emotional game for him today.
First time that he's played in a game without his father being around and being here to watch him. Gonzalez wants to throw, no time. Overthrows the intended receiver, Cheo Angel. Well, tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern Time, the World Gymnastics Championships from Lausanne, Switzerland. The men's and women's team competition, the men's all-around. And then at 7 o'clock Eastern, don't miss the women's all-around competition. Dominique Mociano, Kristen Maloney have already qualified from that. They're from America, of course. Tomorrow, the World Gymnastics Championship. It all begins at 1:30 Eastern Time. And there is a player down in the field.
It's Chris Snyder. He's the one that was putting the pressure on Gonzalez. He plays the X end, the right end. Played both sides of the defensive line. But right at the end, he got a block, a low block, and it hit right about his ankle. He's an interesting player. You know, he was on the other side, the strong side, where the tight end side, where they actually laid down. They put him to the weak side where you don't have to get into coverage, and he's been better at that. He puts a lot more pressure. As you mentioned, he's got great hands, and he works those. That's from his martial arts background, but practices some martial art called Taekwondo.
Easy for you to say.
Taekwondo.
You look at some of the scores from around the country, and we take a look ahead at what lies ahead for Penn State. A Big Ten schedule this year that most people look at and say, you know, you have to like it and like their chances to go through it unscathed. Joe Paterno has not only got Ohio State at home, but Michigan at home as well. Play Northwestern on the road. They're getting beat today against Wake Forest. 3rd and 14 for Gonzalez now. At time, no longer. Jim Nelson with the pick at the 35. Courtney Brown, the man who put the pressure on Pete Gonzalez, and he'd have been better off not throwing that one.
Last two passes, you can tell that all those knockdowns he's had today are starting to take their toll. Stop this just before he throws it. And I'm going to look at him right here. He's throwing off his back foot and almost trying to protect himself from the hit. He is not throwing in rhythm to it. Watch, he's almost backing up and throwing just before the hits come.
And Brown just pounded him after that. So first down for the Nittany Lions at the 35. Here comes Pittsburgh. They blitz, and they get Aaron Harris as soon as he gets the football from Mike McQuarrie. They came on the corners that time. E.C. Varouxis made the stop, along with Calvin Robinson.
Well, that was just not a good pass, Terry, that turned the ball over and gave it back to Penn State. Big play for Nelson. Obviously, this is a time for the award candidates and the Penn State guys to build some stats. I mean, they're winning 34-3 here and certainly in control under 5 minutes to play third period. But Penn State is just in control of the ball game and is just so strong.
And if you're a defender right now for Pittsburgh, you're wondering when you're going to get a break. The long drives by Penn State. That's what's intended for Jurevicius. But they spent a lot of time on the field here in the second half. Great afternoon in his first start so far. 18 out of 30 for 313 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Not too shabby.
Think of some of the players that have come out of State College, Pennsylvania, right here where the university is. You think of Larry and Matt Sue right away.
On 3rd and 13 to the air. Knocked down by DJ Dinkins. Jurevicius was down there well covered. But Dinkins knocked it out at the last minute. Here's a guy who was not only the third string quarterback, battled for the quarterback spot really in fall camp a little bit. Was a wide receiver a year ago. Caught a handful of passes. And now injured.
You know, the Pitt coaches feel that they aren't talented enough yet to play much man defense, so they mixed it up with a lot of zone, and they use some movement and mirrors a little bit, but it's easy to read. They're in zone defenses, and for Penn State, they're just picking it up.
Pat Pigeon's punt. Falls in the end zone. A couple of Penn State players down there to try to down it. Only the third punt of the afternoon for Pigeon. You look at Curtis Enos taking it to the end zone. 34-3. 34-3, excuse me. Penn State rolling here in their first game of the season. We are in State College, Pennsylvania. The number 2 team in the country has made life miserable for Pete Gonzalez. 9 out of 23 for 103 yards, 2 interceptions, Timmy, but more than that, he spent a lot of time on his back on the ground. And now Matt Lytle, the backup, a junior, in there. And here's Billy West on the carry across the 30, out to the about the 37-yard line.
Actually, a good change up here, Terry. I mean, you've got fresh legs coming in and a brand new quarterback with new enthusiasm. 34-3, as you mentioned. Pete Gonzalez was knocked down 7 times just in the first half alone. Just knocked on his butt after plays. He started to backpedal. He wasn't stepping up into his throws anymore. He wasn't stepping into the throws and really lost his rhythm. So this is a good move.
16-yard gain for Billy West on the first down, and they move the chains. 1st and 10 from the 36. Here comes West again. Not this time. Tripped up and stopped at the 37-yard line.
Second down.
And let's check in right now with Lewis Johnson, who is down on the sidelines. Lewis, what do you have?
Hey, Terry, you know you're talking about the quarterbacking troubles for Pittsburgh, but let me tell you, Walt Harris is livid with the offense. He pulled him aside and challenged all those guys to play better because it has been difficult for the quarterback, but he's had no protection, no real chance to try to get a ball off. Guys?
Well, you're right, Lewis, and a couple of different receivers in right now, too. So not only the change at quarterback, but a lot of different personnel in right now. Billy West. Strong carry, almost has the first down. He may have.
You know, I think we're missing the point here. It is not the protection breakdown. If you're going to throw every time, and the defense knows that, they've got things that can bat that. It's a numbers game. You overload one side, you got more guys than you can block. Somebody's coming free. The bottom line is Pitt, and we mentioned this at the beginning, we talked about the West Coast offense. You have to run for that offense to be successful. And Pittsburgh all day, right now, coming into this lineup change, he had 28 yards rushing. You can't win like that.
First down on the 47. Light, maybe a broken play. And he's down, may have lost a yard or so, back to the 46-yard line.
I'll guarantee you that's why Walt Harris was upset with his offense.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, when you have 28 yards midway through, or almost entirely through the third quarter, you're not doing what you need to do.
Especially when that's what you have to set up and make the West Coast, so-called West Coast offense work.
And you can't expect much from your defense when it's on the field the entire quarter. 2nd and 11. Lytle to throw. The left-hander flushed out, runs straight up the middle, has some room, and is hit at the 46 of Penn State. Mac Morrison, the sophomore out of Port Arthur, Washington, stopped him there.
There's Lytle making something out of nothing. That's where those fresh legs come in. Drop back, looked like he was going to be sacked, got himself in some trouble, and instead of 3rd down and 10 or longer now, he picks up a pretty good gain and brings up 3rd down at about, 3? This is a strong play by Lytle, who put his head down and actually delivered a lick rather than taking it.
3rd and 3. Billy West looks for room. Not going to get there. Just across the 45, but he's a good 1.5 yards short of the first down.
Yeah, I'd go for it here. Walt Harris has nothing to lose. Heck, the guy's down 34-3. What are you going to do? Punt it back and give it back to him? If he comes out with a punt team, I'd look for a fake.
And here comes the punt team.
I can't believe he's going to punt here. Just cannot do it. So if I'm on defense, I'm looking for a fake.
You got Grant Cofield, the punter. Former walk-on and a sophomore. Seventh punt of the afternoon, and he does punt it away. Eberle with a fair catch at the 9.
You're at Penn State territory. You're inside the 45-yard line. You're down 31 points with a minute to go in the 3rd period, and you give it back to him. I don't understand it.
Well, tonight, America's biggest road show rolls on. Live at 8 Eastern time, the 5th-ranked Florida State Seminoles take on the Trojans of USC from the LA Coliseum. Bobby Bowden in his 22nd year as the head coach. And the Trojans, John Robinson with 3 young quarterbacks. John Fox gets the start. That'll be a good one tonight at 8 o'clock. Here on ABC. And Florida State, of course, making news in the offseason and in the preseason with a number of suspensions. But, you know, every year they're at least 2 or 3 deep with speed that doesn't fall off at all.
That's going to be against Concho Brown, tight end, to jump too early.
Dead ball. False start. On the offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
And Joe Paterno telling Concho Brown that that's 2.
And Concho Brown goes to the sidelines.
We'll stay there and think about it a while. Here comes Curtis Enoch. Tough going, though. Out to the 10. That's about it. And let's go to New York for an update from John Saunders.
And the
Georgia Tech against Notre Dame, and this was a tough one for the Irish. Now, make the call on this one. Ron Paulus to Bobby Brown. The hands are on the ball, but does he have it? It hits the hip, rolls up along the chest, and then out. They ruled that was a catch. 2 plays later, Autry Detson goes in for his 2nd touchdown of the game, and the Irish have a win for Bob Davie.
Officially called the luck of the Irish. Bob Davie.
We're home cooking. Wow.
I'll tell you, if he loses that one in his initial game as the head coach of the Irish, living right. And Georgia Tech must be pretty good. Mentioned the ACC, a number of schools who can threaten Florida State this year. North Carolina, of course, and Virginia struggled a bit the other night as Tikas Pettigrew, wide receiver, is down on the field right now. But to me, what about the Big Ten? What do you think this year? It's kind of hard to tell. I know you've got the Ohio States and the Michigans, but 4 new coaches in the Big Ten this year, so a lot of changeover.
Yeah, and I think it's good for the conference. I really do. I think the new coaches that have come in are really good coaches. I like Cam Cameron. I like Turner. That's Nor's brother, and those guys have been outstanding. And yeah, as you look at the schedule, you can see that they don't play Illinois till October 4th, so they've got 3 scrimmages until then. Then they go against Ohio State. They get into the real crux of the schedule, and I think you know, it's going to be the same teams that Penn State has to really go after. That's Ohio State, Michigan, of course, and then the Michigan State game at the end's always tough.
So you've got Ohio State and Michigan here in State College. That's a big difference. Brad Scioli, the tight end, with a catch, and he's out across the 40 to the 42 before being knocked to the ground. First time we've seen him make a catch this afternoon. The junior out of Bridgeport, Pennsylvania. Of course, he missed last year, torn ACL, and was out.
Duravicius with another good block on that play, so he's doing more than just catching touchdown passes. You mentioned the new coaches, a lot of new coaches, good coaches that I think are going to help this year. We mentioned Turner, Cam Cameron, Maryland. They got Ron Vanderlinden, and he got Walt Harris here that I think is going to turn Pitt around.
So the end of the 3rd quarter, 34-3. Penn State over Pittsburgh. We're back with more of ABC Sports presentation of college football after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Zoom
by 31 points to start the fourth quarter. Joe Paterno should be satisfied and pleased, right?
No, he still wants these guys to execute. Now look, Concho Brown jumped off twice. 2 penalties for him. He's saying, all right, get out of here. That's it. And until you learn to play this game, be disciplined and execute, come over here with me. That's why he's a great coach.
Why did you seem to get into that so much?
I've been there.
You've been on the receiving end. Aaron Harris not going anywhere. So we start the fourth quarter, and you look at the third quarter statistics, all Penn State, obviously.
Yeah, and again, you look at the rushing yards, and about 40 of those just came in the last series. They have not been able to run the ball. Pitt has not. And as long as Pittsburgh can't run the ball, the West Coast offense won't work effectively.
And by the way, the 341 yards in the air by Mike McQueary, not only his best showing, but he's approaching in on the record, the single game record. Penn State completion there may have done it. Shafi Fields, the intended receiver. Trey Creighton with good coverage, but Todd Blackledge. We showed the interception earlier against Pittsburgh in 1980. Todd Blackledge with the all-time record for a single game in terms of passing, 358 yards against Miami in 81. McQueary with 341 right now starting the fourth quarter.
A lot of people are saying, I wonder why they're still passing deep like that when they're up by 31. I don't believe Joe Paterno's a guy to run up scores, but I don't think he's going to come out of his game plan. I know he won't run up scores, but I've been on some lopsided games against him, and that's because he stands with this. What works for him, his game plan.
Joe Nastasi, the catch, crawls his way down to about the 43.
I'll tell you something else, too, believe it or not, and this is something you probably shouldn't talk about in the NCAA, is the fact that points are worth money now. In other words, if you don't have points and you're number 1, then Florida goes and plays Tennessee, the winner of that game. Some writers may put them up number 1, gets a bigger bowl game, more money. It all comes out. You've got to stay on top of the polls, and a lot of the pollsters believe to do that you've got to score a lot of points.
Well, and Joe Paterno, a guy who's never really been known to do that in terms of looking at the polls and needing points, but you know, you almost have to as a coach nowadays. Cordell Mitchell ahead for a couple, and that's why, Timmy, I really think, and you and I have talked about it, I know you agree with me, that the best situation is if you could wait until, say, October, the middle of October or the beginning of October to bring out the polls, because then you find out who really deserves the high rankings or not.
I do agree with that, but going back to running up scores, I don't believe there is such a thing as running up scores. As long as there is a defense on that field, that's their fault if you're still scoring. You're still making big plays. They've got to step up and stop them. I mean, this is football. You're not going to hold back early on, or why hold up late?
Off the hands of Brad Scioli and incomplete, and going to look at the Burger King play of the day from John Saunders in New York. John?
All right, Terry, indeed, the Burger King play of the day, and it's Marshall against Army. Chad Pennington to Randy Moss. Now, the pass covered about 5 yards. Randy Moss covers about 85 yards. 90 yards for the touchdown. 5 receptions today, 186 yards and a touchdown. And mark this guy down as one of your Heisman hopefuls. He is indeed the real deal. 35-25.
John, thanks. Randy Moss started at Notre Dame, was at Florida State, and now may be a Heisman hopeful.
And grew up in West Virginia.
Yep.
He's a great talent.
Brian Brozeski with the catch. Just short of a first down, I believe. Brozeski, a redshirt freshman out of Blairsville, Pennsylvania.
Now, here's a situation where Travis Pointy would like to have an opportunity to try to kick a field goal. But look, they're going to punt it away. Of course, that would have been an all-time record had he.
And when you're up 30-43, you can say what you will, but some would perceive that as running up the score. So Penn State maybe going to think it over right now, though. They take a timeout. Joe Paterno wants to talk with his assistant coaches and the players on the sideline. We'll take a break and be right back.
What Tough is, it's the available new Ford Triton 5.4-liter V8. What Tough does. What Tough is, it's the wide open spaces of the world's only standard third door. What Tough does. Tough is what Tough does. The new Ford F-150, Motor Trend Truck of the Year, built Ford Tough.
A lot of people my age set off on cruises around the world. Now, I set off on a second career. Hi, guys. Of course, my Dean Witter Broker's impeccable investment advice prepared me for any sort of retirement I chose. And I chose to start over with a business of my own.
Wait a minute, are you sure you're old enough to be here?
That's my idea of a fascinating adventure.
At Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
Hi, I'm expecting a fax.
Room 212 wants the ammunition to deal with her toughest clients.
Nothing. Hi, Davies, 212. I called earlier.
Right, fax. It hasn't come yet.
I need it for a meeting.
Excuse me, Miss Davies? Just came in.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone.
Business services by Marriott. When you're comfortable, you could do anything.
Now this is what you call real horsepower. Florida State tackles USC. Primetime tonight.
Back in State College, the numbers of Mike McQuarrie, more yards than any Penn State quarterback has ever thrown for in a single game. 366.
Penn State's going to go for it, even being up 31. Our statistician, John Madden, says, hey, Walt Harris, give him the film. Give him the video. Call off the dogs.
Not yet. Everly in motion. Mitchell, first down to the 28-yard line. They'll move the chains. Well, the crowd loved the decision. I'm not sure the people on the opposite sideline will. But as you mentioned, Timmy, a moment ago, it's their responsibility to stop you.
Absolutely. That defense has to say, hey, if they're going to embarrass us, that's our fault. Let's step up now. Let's try to stop this thing.
And there goes Mike McQuarrie, his first start, a school record in terms of passing yards, 366, and a huge ovation. Kevin Thompson, the sophomore in there now at quarterback. And there's Bob Stevenson. He was a tight end. Now he's playing fullback. Jason Sloat injured and out. And so you've got Bob Stevenson, Aaron Harris, and Anthony Cleary all at the fullback spot.
Kevin Thompson in the ball game now at quarterback, committed to Penn State after his junior year at Damascus High School down in my neighborhood, Montgomery County, Maryland. Very talented, very strong arm player. His brother still plays at Damascus High School, and he too is a talent.
His dad, a retired police officer. Penn State championship in high school, and the ball's on the ground. Penn State gets it back. Thompson fell on it. Well, coming later this month, it's the all-new ABC Family Tuesday. Dan Aykroyd is back for a new season of Soul Man, followed by Tim Curry and Annie Potts in the new comedy Over the Top. Then Tim Allen, Patricia Richardson, and the Home Improvement Gang are back for another season with more power. And Richard Lewis and Kevin Nealon premiere as Hiller and Diller. And Tuesday ends with all new episodes of NYPD Blue and ABC Tuesdays. Thompson complete at the 25-yard line. Brozeski, the redshirt freshman, on the catch.
A walk-on, former high school quarterback himself.
Yep.
Brozeski.
A couple of catches now in this game.
Got just a hint right here of the strength of Thompson's arm. It's not a long pass, but look at the zip on the ball. And that's good by Brozeski to hold on to that thing. That thing that's fired in there from about 12 feet and a little bit behind him. That's a nice catch by the big guy. 6'6", 215 pounds.
And a Pitt Panther was there before the ball was snapped. That was Ernest Coakley, number 80. That's about as well as you can time it. Coakley, the 6'2", 210-pound senior, a little bit undersized at outside linebacker. Look at this.
Talk to Junior Coakley. He says, man, I love to hit. I love to hit. Well, here he got to him too hard to really lay a big pounding on him, but he drives him back and puts him down. Nicely done. Coakley and Clark have had great games for Pitt. I know we're not supposed to do that anymore. It's got to be Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Right? Old habits don't go away easily.
It is now Pittsburgh, a new name, a new logo, new uniforms, and a brand new head coach in Walt Harris. Matt Waddle touches him one, and out to the 37-yard line.
How do you break somebody You know, old habits like that. It's always been the Pitt Panthers. It's been Pitt, especially for us East Coast guys.
Well, you turn a new leaf and you change things. Of course, it's not a 180 turn. Walt Harris, a guy who was a member of Johnny Major's staff at Tennessee back in the mid-'80s. Certainly ties there. Johnny Majors always thought highly of him, and of course spent the last couple of years as the quarterback coach at Ohio State. Play clock almost running out. Billy West off the right side.
Talk about it not being a 180 turn. They hope it's a 360 all the way back to the national championship year. But it's going to be tough this year. You talk about rebuilding, and obviously Walt Harris, who I believe will win at Pittsburgh. He is a good, smart, talented coach, but he inherited a team that was in a little bit of disarray. And then if you look at this and you say, wow, what a schedule. Penn State, they go against Miami, Notre Dame, Boston College, Syracuse, Virginia Tech. I mean, it's loaded up and down that schedule, and that's a tough way to start for a talented coach when you come in and your players are a little bit weaker than they should be, a little bit slower than they should be, and it'll take time to bring them up to the next level.
Just short of the first down. Three things that he really wanted them to do this year: play with emotion, to execute, and to be organized. He really felt that he had to really organize this team. That was one of the things lacking, and he felt they really weren't in shape when he came in during fall camp. And I think you look at what he's done so far. He's done those. Today, maybe the emotion was there. Execution at times, especially offensively, was not there. But the organization, I think, intact.
He's done what he's been able to do so far. He has sold this team, these players, on his program. You know, when you turn a program around, they say you go through 3 stages. First, the players hope they can win. Second, they think they can win. And third, a good team expects to win. Well, I think he took them from hoping to thinking they can win. The next step is going to be expecting to win every time out. But that'll come with talent.
3rd and 1. Lytle straight ahead. Well, he's kept it a number of times already since coming in. Why not that time? First down, 9 minutes and change left here in the ball game. How long do you think it takes a head coach, say, coming into Pittsburgh, if you're in Walt Harris's shoes right now, to actually put your stamp on a program and turn it around?
It's hard to tell how far down Pittsburgh was. I can tell you from the University of Maryland standpoint, when that was rebuilt when I was there, when Jerry Claiborne came in, his first year they went 500. Second year, and after that they started a string that was just beaten by Florida State with 21 consecutive ACC wins.
Penalty marker on the play.
And they blow it
Delay
dead.
of game against Pittsburgh.
Delay of game against the Panthers. Well, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern time. There's never been anything like it on television before. Based on the bestseller ABC News presents Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Find out things you can do that can save your relationships. 9 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow night on ABC.
You know, the Nittany Lions are just wearing party hats now. I mean, they're coming to the party, bringing party favors. They're hooping and hollering, having a good time, flying around the football.
Many of the starters still in.
Number 20, Billy West.
Lost a yard.
Second down.
Now, Billy West, now a senior, out of Smithfield, Ohio. Florida State taking on USC tonight at 8 o'clock out on the West Coast. The LA Coliseum. That should be a great one. But Billy West has led them in rushing 2 of the last 3 years. Had an injury. He missed 1995, but he was the Big East Offensive Player of the Year his sophomore year in '94. And still can play, still can run. This one tipped and incomplete. But when the coaches came in, he missed some time because of classes, because of getting everything in order in terms of his class schedule. Missed some practice time in the spring, and that really put him behind with a new system coming in. He's just catching up now, and that's why he's just now getting more playing time.
Again, Lytle thought he had his guy in the seam, and the play is made very, very nicely by LeVar Arlington, who is a true freshman that they're very high on. He was the Ohio's High School Player of the Year. Highly regarded high school running back. They put him in as the nickel back. He's playing well.
3rd and 17. Lytle tipped. Billy West was there, but a good play that time from Chris Alston. Alston, a senior out of Chapel Hill.
Penn State has a unique defensive combination of speed and power. And they've made it pay all day. I mean, holding Pittsburgh to 3 points is huge. Like a Mack truck and a Ferrari. What do you call that? A Mack-Tari defense.
You write that one down. David Macklin back deep for Penn State. Wanted to field it at first, but wisely lets it go. It goes out at the 26-yard line. 38-yard punt. No returns, but a great day for the Nittany Lions and for Mike McQuarrie. The gesture to his father in the stands. Big smile. There's a reason for it.
Is that a new big, King?
No, it's a bag, Coach.
No, in the bag, son.
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, what's a smart kid like you doing sitting on the bench? Get in there and play quarterback.
Really?
Like taking candy from a baby.
The new Big King from Burger King, flame broiled with 75% more beef. It's like a Big Mac, except it's bigger and tastes better. And right now, you can get one for just 99 cents.
Coach said I could play halfback.
Before planning your next getaway, call Thrifty Car Rental at 1-800-4CARS. We're right in your neighborhood with great rates on great cars. For a limited time, rent a compact car for only $29.95 a day. But at that price, they're going fast. So call Thrifty now at 1-800-4CARS or your professional travel agent. It's quick, it's easy, and best of all, it's thrifty.
It's at home, anywhere.
Not many have left Beaver Stadium, even though it's a 31-point game and has been for some time now. 7:25 to go in this one. Kevin Thompson in at quarterback for Mike McQuarrie, a record-setting day. A fifth-year senior. Nowhere to go in the backfield.
There's Junior Coakley again, a junior college guy making another big play. Coakley and Clark, you can't say enough about them. They have not quit. They're down by 31, and they're still playing hard.
Joe Dawkins, the man who carried the football.
Defensively now, you can start to try to tee off. You saw Penn State came out in a 2 tight end formation. You know they're going to try to just pound the ball now so you can load up for the run. Now they change on you, loosen it up.
Thompson to throw. Complete. Out of the backfield.
Kevin Thompson's pass complete to number 36, Mike Saramelli.
Mike Saramelli out of the backfield, number 36.
To talk about reading formations. First play they come out 2 tight. You know that's a running formation. Here they come out, they give you a little motion man, they split. They don't come out with 2 tight ends, so you loosen the secondary a little bit and look for the pass.
Third and 12. Kevin Thompson. Swing pass out of the backfield and incomplete. Had a lot of room, too. Joe Dawkins did. There's a look at Joe Juravicius. A big day today. 7 catches for 108 yards. 6 of those receptions in the first half, plus the touchdown. And they spread it around, though. McQuarrie went to 8 different receivers this afternoon.
Look at it this way. You've got Juravicius, who's 6'5", a 4-4 sprint guy, and then you got Enos out of the backfield, who's an outstanding receiver.
Jake Hofer back deep. Has pretty good balance.
It's terrific balance.
And the big question mark coming into the year was Mike McQuarrie. Whether or not he could lead this team. That one almost blocked. National championship almost blocked, but it's a great punt. All the way back to the 16. Jake Hofer fields it there.
It's a 60-yard punt.
Just shy, a 59-yard punt.
Got a bad mark.
is actually a family car, but that can be your little secret. Ford Taurus.
Now get $1,500 cash back on Ford Taurus.
The #1 choice of America's top mechanics, people who know use Valvoline, and Thrifty Car Rental, renting cars with pride worldwide. And best of all, it's thrifty. Well, at least today they look like a #2 team in the country or #1 team in the country, depending on your choice of poll. Nittany Lions up big here. And the defense just keeps swarming. Billy West nowhere to go. Mac Morrison in there, and still you got a number of starters in on defense.
Don't forget tonight, Florida State and Southern California. That's coming up a little bit later.
What do you like there?
Florida State.
Even with all the suspensions?
Yeah,
and,
I do.
Yeah?
I really do.
Thad Busby, of course, leading them at quarterback. Back again. You look at his numbers last year. There's so much talk before the bowl game that either he wins or he doesn't start this year. Dan Kendra, a guy who sat on the bench a couple of years. I expect great things for him, but Busby just keeps rolling. Best guy in camp this fall. Billy West straight ahead for about 5. So much team speed, though, that Florida State has. And you talk about Penn State, and you and I have talked about it. They don't look that fast because of the shoes, because of the uniforms, because of the helmets. But this is a quick team.
You know, I used to say that. When I was in Maryland, I'd always look at those playing uniforms. They look like practice uniforms in the black shoes. You really don't think they're that quick. Wrong. Maryland's beaten Penn State once in 37 tries. They're quick. You know, coming into this game, we said that this was probably a mismatch. We said that Pittsburgh was up against it. They're going against an outstanding program that Joe Paterno has built up years and years and years. So Walt Harris comes in. It's going to take him time to turn this around. But I'll tell you what, Pittsburgh has shown a lot of fight today. I mean, they were blasted as everybody thought they would be, but they showed a lot of talent, a lot more talent than I thought they would have at this point.
See some of the scores. Notice that Wake Forest up a couple of touchdowns late against Northwestern. Second year in a row if they pull it off that they'll upset Northwestern. Ball is dropped at the 35-yard line. We'll see who got it. And Pittsburgh has recovered. The Panthers fall on the loose ball, so they take over at the 35-yard line.
You would never know Joe Paterno is winning 34-3. I mean, he is really, really upset because the ball was on the ground.
Kareem Thompson, the man who recovered the fumble. It was David Macklin who was back there. And
one of the 4 don'ts of the kicking game, you go in order. You say, don't be offsides, don't rough the kicker, don't clip, and don't let the ball hit the ground. There's one of the 4 don'ts of the kicking game. They put it on the ground, they lose it.
Lytle, straight drop, throws out. West, first down and more inside the 18 to the 17-yard line. Actually got down to the 15, gained an extra yard with the extra effort. Gain of 20 before Brad Johnson, number 17, knocked him out.
Billy West showing some pretty good wheels there too.
Oh, he's got good wheels. You look at the backs for Pittsburgh with West, Poteet, and Schulters. They all can run.
Isolated him outside. There was no perimeter coverage by Penn State. Now all he's got to do is get up ahead of steam, pick up as many yards as he can before he gets into the secondary.
It's first down at the 15-yard line now. A world of time, but nobody open. Secondary doing its job. He's going to run for a first down. He's inside the 4-yard line.
And you've got to like this about Pittsburgh. 31-point differential here with 4 to go in the game, and they're still fighting like it's on the line.
Look at Lytle. He's got playing time right now. This is the game is on the line for him. Guy who started most of last year, came into camp head-to-head with Pete Gonzalez, fighting for that spot. And the coaches really on the last day of the preseason practice before they start preparing for Penn State decided to go with Pete Gonzalez.
And Lytle will be here next year. Pete Gonzalez is a 5th-year senior.
Reloads. Through the hands. He was wide open. Wow.
Fiola's got to make that catch. I mean, Lytle does everything he has to do. Bounces off blockers, comes outside, buys some time, and puts it right there. Field is wide open, and it goes right through his hands. But watch this. Looks outside, bounces back off the blocker, sees his guys wide open, and puts it there. Now look at this. How does that happen? That's a lack of concentration.
And Tim, you think back to the first quarter when the game was certainly still in question. Terry Murphy dropping the football, and he may have had 6. It may have been a different outlook, at least early. Not saying it would have been a different ball game, but would have changed things a little bit. Lytle now under pressure. Sidearms it out, no one there. And they'll throw the flag. He just threw that one away.
Well, that grounding, had he done it a little bit to the outside, he had a receiver out there.
No one near the football, so the intentional grounding, and that's costly.
All right, so if you're going to ground it and throw it away, this is a good idea by Lytle, just poor execution. See, there's nobody out there, nobody even close except a couple of big guys in white jerseys. Had he thrown it outside,
on the offense, 5-yard penalty.
He had a receiver.
Spot of the pass, loss of down.
And that's what hurts, the loss of down. See, Pete Gonzalez still into it, though, right next to his head coach, Walt Harris, signaling the plays. And it is Walt Harris right now wanting a timeout who calls the plays. He's a position coach as well as the head coach. Coaches the quarterbacks, and he calls every play.
That's difficult to do. Not many coaches do that. I know Norm Turner does that. I know that Walsh did that. At Colorado, they do that, but
Rick Neuheisel?
Yeah, but not many coaches do that. It takes a lot of concentration, and some feel it takes away from your head coaching.
And one luxury he has, and he talks about this, is Larry Coyer, the defensive coach, the defensive coordinator. He's able to give the defense to him and let him run it, so that he really doesn't have to worry that much about that. And he takes the offense.
I'm not saying Walt Harris can't do that. I'm just saying it's just more difficult. I mean, here's a guy, he was the quarterback's coach with the Jets. He ran the offense at Ohio State where they had great success. He knows how to make Gonzalez into a productive quarterback, and he knows how to get the feel and make the plays. There's a look at Larry Coyer, and of course Larry has been around. He's been a pro coach, he's been a college coach. He's an outstanding defensive coach. He likes that attacking, what he calls a mad dog defense, you know, with the 8-man front. They do a lot of things off of that, but he calls the defense.
Now, we buried Todd Blackledge early by showing his interception back in 1980. We said that he would get his revenge against Pitt, and he did.
I'm worried about this.
In 1981, Dan Marino, the quarterback for Pittsburgh. But Todd Blackledge, after being down 14 points, leads the Nittany Lions back. The 52-yard strike to Kenny Jackson, who ran to score 48 unanswered points. Penn State upsetting #1 Pitt, 48-14. Waddle to throw to the end zone. It's a jump ball, incomplete. Broken up by Chris Alston.
Number 7, Chris Alston. 4th down.
So it brings up 4th down, and it's actually 4th and goal.
Ever want an indicator about how your defense is playing? When you have 4th and goal at the 19.
Not a good sign on offense. And listen to this crowd. They don't want Pittsburgh to get into the end zone. Lytle with time. Touchdown.
What a strike.
Cheo Angel with the catch, the freshman out of Sacramento. 4th and goal at the 19-yard line.
Boy, Lytle stepped up and just drilled that thing. Watch this. Immediately he's locked on. Now he goes off of him, looks the defender off, and then just throws a perfect strike to Angel. Angel enrolled this past January at Pittsburgh. Originally signed with Boise State, then went to junior college, and he's out of Sacramento, California. That was a nice play.
Forensic on for the extra point. You mentioned the arm of Matt Lytle, a top recruit baseball-wise in high school. He showed the arm there. The touchdown strike to Cheo Angel, his first touchdown catch of the year. Pittsburgh on the board again. 93rd meeting between Penn State and Pittsburgh. And it has been all Penn State. Although the Panthers with a 19-yard scoring strike from Matt Lytle to Chano Angel moments ago. Their first touchdown of the afternoon. 3:50 left here in State College. No, and I think, you mentioned it, Tim, you take some things away if you're Walt Harris from this game. You came up here, you weren't intimidated, you had the emotion, you gave the effort. Execution just wasn't there during some parts of the game. Choppy Fields on the return. He's got some room. Bounces outside and now out to the 33. There is a flag on the play, though.
I think it's going to be a block in the back against Penn State.
The marker down is right about the 37-yard line. They got the hold.
Against Penn State.
And Joe Paterno, that's the one thing he can't be real happy with. Well, if time permits, and most likely it will, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report featuring scores and highlights from across the country. John Saunders, Todd Blackledge, and we most likely will have time for that.
Pittsburgh came in today and did a lot of things well, but the worst thing that happened to them is they've dug themselves a hole early. They turned it over. Penn State took that back for a touchdown. They also had a short punt. Penn State got good field position. It was 10-0 before the game even began practically, and it's tough enough to come into this place and beat Penn State head up, but when you give them opportunities like that, it's really, really almost impossible to beat them.
Kevin Thompson, the quarterback for Penn State. They're still throwing. Incomplete. So they're not sitting on this one at all. 3:32 left in the game. With a 24-point lead.
Joe Paterno, on the other hand, he is not happy. He doesn't like some of the mental mistakes that they've made. The offsides, the illegal procedures, putting the ball on the ground, doing things that Penn State normally doesn't do, and if does it against some of the quality teams, could lose.
I'm not sure that we have seen Cuncho Brown back in after his second penalty. That would have been done for the day. Tough yards straight ahead. Joe Dawkins.
For 38, Joe
Dawkins. Well,
ball carrier.
Thursday at 7:56 p.m. Eastern Time. Alabama taking on Vanderbilt. First SEC game for both of these teams. And they both, by the way, have new coaches. Mike DeBose taking over at Alabama. And Woody Weidenhofer at Vanderbilt. This is, of course, an Alabama team led by quarterback Freddie Kitchens still. It's on ESPN. He's on the kickoff show. Ends at 7:30 Eastern prior to that game. Alabama Vanderbilt. Bob Stevenson, the intended receiver, and incomplete. You talked about some of the new coaches, and we did in the Big Ten. Mike DeBose at Alabama, who is on the staff taking over part of that tradition. Tough to get it done in the SEC these days, though. Alabama certainly with the tradition to do it. Florida State taking on USC tonight. Who would have thought after the first week in the SEC, Florida, at any time, would be near the bottom in terms of offense. Another good punt, Jake Holford. The fair catch at the 27-yard line. He had a 59-yarder a moment ago. Now a 52-yard punt.
Boy, they love their football up here, Terry. There's no question about that. Look at all the people that are still here. This game has really been, for all intents and purposes, has been over a half now. And yet they're hanging in there. And if you look at the attendance, it's 97,115, the largest in school history. Third largest crowd last year out of all of college football, behind only Michigan and Tennessee. This place is special. There's no question. They had 62,000 plus for the spring game, the blue-white game this past spring in this stadium. They love their football here. They're great fans.
The stadium holds about 93 plus, but they overfilled quite a bit. Intended for Terry Murphy, and there's a flag.
Pass interference.
They're going to call the interference. Murphy was down there. Matt Joyner, the junior hero, a strong safety, was there and maybe got there a little too early. But you've got the 97,000 plus here, largest crowd ever.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And certainly a large part of that due to the tradition of this rivalry, the Penn State-Pittsburgh rivalry. Joe Paterno, number 4 in terms of all-time wins, number 1 active coach. Amos Alonzo Stagg, 41 years at the same school. Joe Paterno has been the head coach here 32 years.
Joe says he's going to take it in stages now. 5 more years. He's going to evaluate, see how he feels.
That's Eddie Robinson at Grambling, look, 57 years now.
Joe may. Joe may. I told you he's not
a ways to go for that.
He's not 70 years young. He's chronologically advantaged.
Ramel Johnson, a freshman out of Philadelphia with a catch. Well, I'm not sure I would have been on 57 years here.
It's been a great run, though. It ain't over yet.
No, it's not. And as strong as ever. Another pass is dropped. That's got to be at least the 4th one today by Pittsburgh receivers.
Second down.
Cheo Angel had that one go right through his hands. Man who caught the touchdown pass on the last drive. 2:32 left here. Thrifty Cardinal post-game report comes up following the game. Don Saunders and Tom Blackledge. The studio in New York. A lot of action in the world of college football this Saturday. Lidle's going to run. He can. Down to the 36-yard line. Well, the Panthers would love to get another touchdown up there. They just scored a moment ago. Look at Lytle. He's running around like it's a 2-point game. Third and 2. Lytle under pressure. Down he goes. Number 11, LeVar Arrington. You're going to hear a lot from this young man over his years at Penn State.
True freshman. Ohio High School Player of the Year. He was a highly regarded high school running back. Came here and they tried to put him in the defensive scheme, tried to throw a lot at him, and they said, well, let's not overwhelm him. Let's just make him the nickel back. And he's flourished.
The only guy, in fact, in Pennsylvania 4A high school history to gain over 4,000 yards in his career. 4,000 yards. That's a lot of yards. And star at North Hills High School in Pittsburgh, really one of the most highly recruited players out of high school. Timeout now charged to the Panthers. And there's Mike McQuarrie, Fran Ganner, the offensive coordinator, Jim Nelson, star linebacker next to him, and you can laugh a little bit when you're up 34-10.
See why we call him Big Red?
Why?
He's a good-looking guy, isn't he? Strapping guy, tall quarterback. Did you see that article in the paper?